Well, we got a week of very quiet, not many news, which is a good thing, maybe. I don't know, maybe it's a good thing. We'll have a nice fun time. So anyways, 3, 2, 1. Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. It is the Biendeo stream today on this fine 23rd of March 2026. I've forgotten the week. I hope you're having a wonderful week and we'll have a wonderful week ahead of you. What's up, Fetty? And hello, time to grind. Well, it's not... Here's the thing. It's not just time to grind. It's also time to figure out if we're there already. I was nearly about to hit Guitar Hero. We're not playing Guitar Hero today. Let's dive right in. Here we go. I apologize if I have my Dolphin configured differently. I've been doing lots of Guitar Hero debugging for people, and I haven't really figured out what settings I had. So I'm hoping for the best. We need to get that one shot. Well, we do. So here's an asterisk that I figured out. Or at least I'm taking a huge guess on. I don't know if I've got my audio right. We'll see. But yeah, no, if I've got my settings weird, I apologize. I gotta double check what I had before. But I've been doing so much debugging for people for Guitar Hero that I have just needed to like really try and figure out what exactly am I like working with. What are the slow bits on Guitar Hero? And I didn't have all my regular Dolphin stuff copied, so hopefully it's all good. I've been trying so much. The news from the past week, I swear I've had the blur filter on. Is it too sharp? Judge it for me if it's too sharp. I don't know. Maybe it is, because it seems a little odd to me. I don't remember turning off that setting though. Anyways, yeah, in the past week, or sorry, last week on Pokémon Colosseum, we did a little bit of the Elite Four, the big top head honchos. We got kind of a fair bit of the way there, but we're up to the last one, the last group, and it's just a bit too good. Yeah, I totally have the blur filter on, or the blur filter not on. I'm pretty sure I played with it on. So we're gonna do a live emulator tweaking. Live emulator tweaking. I'm very certain I had disable copy filter off. So if we go back to it, it's gonna be a tad blurry, and that's how I remembered it. Because I was like, I don't remember it being as sharp as what I was looking at there. The pseudo-wudo statues, exactly. We're gonna take a crack at doing the final boss. And you might be wondering, are we ready? And I found out as I was trying to take a screenshot of a nice bit of freeze frame from yesterday or from last week. Turns out, I think you only have to beat the 4 trainers, the 4 very nameless, but they have names, trainers in a row in this bit at the top. Unlike regular Pokemon tradition, which is you beat the 4 trainers and then the guy after him in one fell swoop, although you get the ability to save between each one. In this one, you don't get the ability to save or heal between any of those trainers. And then you notice that my party was full healed for the 5th guy, and then also full healed for the 6th guy. In trying to take a screenshot, I realized, or a thumbnail rather, I realized that I immediately start back up in front of the mayor. Like, right there. That's the final battle. It's ready. It's right there and there. So, I don't have to do anything leading up to it. I could just have a crack at it, and if it doesn't work, we skip the show. Okay, so, can you miss any Shadow Pokemon in the game? The answer is no. You cannot permanently kill any Shadow Pokemon in the game. Every single one of them does show up in a post-game battle of some variety. You cannot get them until you've beaten the game. So here we get to experience this cutscene verbatim. But now we gotta fight him. It does mean we gotta go back for that one Shadow Pokemon, eventually. But it also means I can at least get the momentum going and beat this fight and be done with the game-ish. I'll mention what I mean by like how much of the game I actually really want to do, but hey, as long as I can actually beat this, It is just this one dude, yes. Now the catch is... we gotta do something about that Salamence. So I'm hoping that it's not Earthquake City for everyone else, but since we're dealing with level 60s, I do want to catch his last Pokemon though, because it's kind of moot if I don't catch it, you know? The reason why we were rushing through those 4 was because I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to have to stop and do all the stuff again and again just to have to fight those 4 trainers again and again. Now granted, it sucks that I didn't catch, what was the one I was missing there? Ouchies. Ouch. What was the one Pokemon I was missing in that fight? I've forgotten. Oh, jeez. Okay. I mean, the Salamence might kill himself at some point, but I've completely... well, the worst part is that it's not that I've completely forgotten, it's that I need to... the Houndoom, that's what it was. So remember, we still got to deal with the Tyranitar at the end of this, which I only mentioned in passing. I didn't actually show happening at all, but... let's see, Machamp, what's he weak to? It's really just Psychic and Flying, isn't it? And I don't really have either of the two, so as long as I've got something that isn't going to take hits to the fighting, which I don't really have a great... I don't have a great option. Umbreon would get his butt kicked a little bit by the Machamp while it exists. But he's 100% gonna be full restoring on the sound. Oh! That's gonna get annoying. Oh my goodness. Jeez. So my other, like, kind of problem that I felt as I was doing this, yeah, this setup was that you've got to sort of spend your turns reviving all the time. All of these guys are gonna be weak to something. If it's not Earthquake, it's gonna be Cross Chop, so let's just get this out. But I feel like if I spend some time doing revives, maybe I'll have a bit more of a shot, because I need to get, like, Suicune out so I can be using Aurora Beam on the Salamence. And you need to have your 2 turns just used to, like, dedicate throwing your Pokemon, or throwing some revives out. This might be Curtains for Meganium. Yeah, it is. Okay. And what I'm hoping for is that he doesn't feel the need to cross over, but it's like, yeah, you can only buy revives, you can't buy full revives. And you're going to be spending a lot of turns like this, where it's like you're worried that he's going to hit both Pokemon in one go. Greetings, Blub. It's, see, like, I want to say I have a chance, but it's like, I'm really up against, like, these 2 guys. I mean, if I can beat these guys, then that's it. That is game said and done, but... I'm surprised that he wasn't using, yeah, I'm surprised that he's not full restoring, unless he knows that he's too good for full restores. Because Raiku's got quick attack, doesn't he? Yeah, he does, so I could actually win this one. Unless he uses Earthquake. Oh wait, I'm using Aurora Beam on him, he's already dead. But it's like all of that effort just to take out one Pokemon. Now he's got Slacking. Slacking is a bit of a doozy. Yeah, there's Earthquake, so what am I, like, double screwed here? Because if it wasn't Raikou, Entei's gonna cop that as well. That's just what I get for not having a flying type, I guess. Even then, he just does a lot of damage. And, like, that's it. That's my last guy, so... What is my strategy? What would my strategy be? Maybe I'd have a second crack at it. I know Slacking has, really good attack, but then he snoozes on the next turn, but it's like... I don't know what I would do differently other than maybe have, yeah, okay, alright, no, it's all over. I need to do another round of Mount Battle, I guess. Oh no, it's not over yet. But I feel like I need to do Espeon new Psychokinesis. Yeah, he needs to be high level. Like that. The problem was that damage right there. That's one hit from a Psybeam, which is not the strongest attack in the world, but. Entei's okay, but it's like Ice Beam on Sweet. Ice Beam's not one-shotting. That's also the problem. Yeah, Psybeam's only 65 strength. I can replace it with Psychic. Maybe that'll do a bit better, but yeah, it's not one-shotting. That's the problem. Like I'm a number of levels. Oh, it'd be Psychic then you're referring to, yeah. Let me just double check if I'm on Espeon on Bulbapedia, just on the side, and I don't know, is this kind of it? Like, I don't imagine this to end particularly well in any circumstance here, but throw Umbreon out and see if Umbreon will bulk this. But probably not, I don't know. But yeah, in Gen 3, I learned Psychic at level 47. I don't know, maybe I should actually just give him the extra level and be done with that. Because he's level 46, isn't he? Yeah, he's one level off from learning that, so... I was thinking, isn't it a TM? It is, but... Scizor would be crazy weak to this. I could confuse Ray slacking just to sort of have a crack at that. Of course, if I've got this fight, then... Yeah, so as long as Entei's alive, I think, yeah, Flamethrower is fine for Scizor. Yeah, Flamethrower's set on that one. Yeah, I don't have anything specifically for slacking. Slowking would be weak to a Dark-type attack, right? Or is it pure Water-type? No, he's Water Psychic. He's got... He might cop something, I don't know. Yeah, full restore. Always a doozy. I don't know why I thought he had thick fat for a second there. I was like, oh, that wasn't a lot of damage. Feint Attack's gonna do okay, but... Yeah, it's like, it's tiny. It's tiny. Whose ability is he swapping with? Slackings! Oh boy. Oh boy. That's a bit scary. How do you deal with this? You just go for it? Hope for the best? That's... Yeah, okay. It's gonna be Kill City. Alright. I gotta watch out for that then. And then on top of that, we still haven't seen... we have actually. We've seen everything else. We haven't seen Tyranitar. That's the one we haven't seen. I do have Confused Ray on slacking. I just don't trust my luck on any of it. It's not good enough, I tell you. Meganium is a bulky boy, so I can send him out and not have to worry too much unless he uses Aerial Ace specifically on Meganium, which he always does. It should hurt itself a ton, yes. But he just doesn't... Actually, I'm very certain I use Confused Ray on him. I don't think he is. Maybe he broke out of it in one turn and I just wasn't paying attention just then. But yeah, you get, I don't know, you get caught in this one bit here where you don't really have a chance, so we'll just reset that and have another Mount Battle run because I feel like I need Psychic, I need a couple more levels still. It's such a bummer. It's such a bummer that that's where I'm at still. I know maybe I could spam some more revives. Maybe. Yeah, they're not endgame attacks. I haven't been throwing TMs on any of my Pokemon. I'm getting a little bit of audio lag as well. Let me just up that a bit. It was fine when I was playing Guitar Hero earlier, but only while I was playing Guitar Hero. That's what I get for tweaking emulator stuff mid-game. It is a true RPG, and it's sort of always had that in some capacity, but yeah, it is a bit of a doozy. You got a handful of attacks. Like obviously, here I am. I'm rocking Aurora Beam when really I should be using Ice Beam. You know what I mean? Like Ice Beam would be great. In fact, actually, let's address the team. So obviously, I think Espeon. Let's address the team's moves. Obviously, Espeon has one level away before it learns Psychic, which I think would be great in combination with really everything else. It sort of came out of the box with Reflect, returns a great attack. Granted, it's physical, but, you know, I think, you know, what else do you give him that's Psychic? Shadow Ball, maybe. But where do you get Shadow Ball from? And you can't use that on Slacking. So it's like, where do you get it? You get it from the Under Colosseum Battle 3. You know what? You know what you gotta fight for that battle? Level 60s. I'm sort of in the same boat where it's like, well, if I can beat that, then I can beat this guy. I know this guy might be just as bad, but I don't know. I think that might kick my butt. So we'll leave it at that for Espeon. For Umbreon, again, it's like there's no other... Psychic also lowers special defense. The other attack learn thresholds. Yeah, no, he only learns Morning Sun afterwards. Which, at 52, which is like, that's ages away. Like, I'm gonna be here for way too long otherwise if, I'm doing that. Umbreon learns, Screech. Or did try to learn Screech, and I said, nah, I'd prefer Secret Power, which I feel like actually is normal type. It is 3rd gen, yeah. It's not a strong attack, but it's like, it's kind of the best I got there. Feint Attack is the strongest dark attack I have, or it can even learn. Don't really have any alternatives to that. Taunt, I've not really found a great use for, so maybe that's a different kind of attack I could have here. His attack isn't quite as high, so I'd expect him to be maybe a bit more of a setup kind of Pokemon if possible, but, you know, other than, like, Toxic, I'm not really too sure what I could throw on him. So let's look at the next one, which would be Entei. I think Entei is pretty set, though. I mean, Fire Blast is kind of overkill, but I get it. Flamethrower is more the de facto move I would use in more circumstances. Bite's fine. It's there. I don't really think I'd be using it on anyone, but... I can't really think of any other setup that I'd really have. I've got Sunny Day, which might be nice in case I wanted to sweep a bit, but I'm very worried about just getting railed at the start, so... he could learn Solar Beam. Phoenix Stadium Battle 4, which I could do. It might be gutsy, but it might be funny against the Slow King. Maybe. Let's move over to Raikou. I guess the problem is that obviously if you're using Sunny Day, you're not setting up Rain Dance. I could teach Sand Attack to Umbreon, maybe. Maybe. I know it's not tournament safe, but it's like I am running on a risk. Might be okay. Maybe. Instead of Taunt, I don't think Taunt's too useful. You gotta know what you're up against. But yeah, Raikou, only thing I'd really say about Raikou is that Spark is not Thunderbolt. And I'd prefer to teach Thunderbolt. Which I get from Mount Battle for 4,000 coupons. How many coupons do I have, just for reference? $3,900. So as long as I keep it going, I can at least buy one of these TMs. That is Psychic right there, I'd imagine, as well. But then, yeah, there's Ice Beam, there's Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Double Team, I think? So it's like, oh, I only get a choice of one of these, because obviously then Suicune won't learn... Suicune won't learn this. Let's check out Meganium. This is going to be riveting gameplay right here. Meganium learns Solar Beam at 61, which is so far away. Again, could be a TM, which I think I said, again, you get that at the end of Phoenix Stadium. But only once? I'm worried about you teaching it to Meganium just because Meganium might just learn it normally. I like this move list, although Synthesis is a bit eh. Razor Leaf is not the strongest attack, but the crit ratio is nice. Body Slam's nice. For someone who's a very mixed attacker, I think that's okay, but... Yeah, it's like... he's not there in terms of having his, his best move, and... Again, 3rd gen is like, sometimes you have a strat, but sometimes you don't. And then finally Suicune here. Who, doesn't learn anything else, really. I mean, it'll learn Mist, which is at 51. Mirror Coat at 61. Hydro Pump at 71. And Calm Mind at 81. I'm like, 71 is way too far away. 60 is far too far away. So, I think Ice Beam might be nicer to have over Aurora Beam, just in terms of the raw damage. Surf should be dealing more damage, but it doesn't really feel like it. Gust is the funny move. It's just there. I don't even know why it's there, but that's part of his move list. He just learns it, so... in this part of the Pokemon? Exactly. I don't have a funnier move to really put on him. I see Water Pulse in this list, but really the only move I can think of is either I put Aurora Beam on him, or I put Thunderbolt on Raikou, and I'd lean more towards... Sorry, Ice Beam. And I'd lean more towards Ice Beam just because Thunder, at least you can use Rain Dance to set up. So at least you can have that. Whereas Ice Beam is like, Ice Beam's Ice Beam. 140 Surf. Yeah, well, Surf gets the 50%. Ice Beam... Aurora Beam doesn't get a damage boost from Stab because it doesn't exist. Aurora Beam is quadruple against Salamence as well. So the fact that it's dealing half of his health is still like, wow. Yeah, exactly. So I think Ice Beam would be great to open up with. Would it kill him though? I guess that's the question, but I'd be cool with that. So how about let's dive into Mount Battle, and we'll discuss kind of like where this goes. Mount the Battle. No, we'll continue. This is gonna get a little antsy, just because the trainers are a bit strong. They shouldn't be too strong. They shouldn't catch me entirely off guard. But they were kind of long battles, weren't they? Dobell. That's all good, Blub. Have a good one, my man. I'll see you later. Fetty, yeah, you can chat about your news. I've only got like a couple of stories, and they're not particularly big ones or pertinent ones, so I can throw them into the chats at the end. Ninjask, I still love Ninjask. I still can't believe it how like brick wall of an end game this one was. Every time I always forget the types of Girafarig. But yeah, no, I might as well just chat about like my week in a bit, and we'll just start that off as that's the news. So it's been, I will say, right at the end of last week's stream, I got so incredibly ill. Like, Like, not just like, how would I put it? Not a moment after the stream ended. It was just like, the cold symptoms started to kick in. Or the flu symptoms, rather, not the cold symptoms. Also, rip Espion. I know. So, yeah, it was just like runny nose. It was just like dealing with that. Then I woke up with a bit of a headache. I was sweating all over. A bit dizzy, just like that kind of stuff. And so I spent Tuesday and then Wednesday really just lying down and keeping it chill. But then, no cough at least. So if you're diagnosing what exactly it was, there wasn't a cough. I didn't really have a loss of appetite or anything. But it was a bit of a doozy. It was like something really odd, and I found it was really weird because I usually don't get sick that hard, and if I do, then you know, sorry, I get sick hard. I don't get sick very often, but it was weird because I felt alright during the stream, other than complaining about my back all the time, and so I can't explain how a sore back led to. You know, I guess a bunch of illnesses, but that's okay. But I knew I needed to get better because obviously the Retro Achievements Wii rollout happened on Friday, as people probably saw, or as my Friday was Thursday, I think, US time. It was Friday for me, so I'm counting that one. That's why I do my streams at night, because when I say it's Monday, it probably is Monday for most people, unless you live in Hawaii. I'm not going to spoil the news too hard, but I'll talk about my set in particular. So I'm very happy about how it's turned out. There's a lot of I feel like I haven't quite got my dolphin settings right, and the frame rate is doing weird kind of like mid-engine hitching. Oh, do I have the No, I don't. I was going to say I was playing around with the internal overclock setting. Well, I hope I didn't set that one wrong, but I don't think I have. But yeah, I'm generally tackle the news outright. Oh, I mean, drop him in the chat. I'll chat about him when it comes up. But yeah, no, I'm happy. Yeah, we roll out last Thursday. Yeah, I'm happy with how my set rolled out. There's obviously teething issues. People find some things here and there. Unfortunately, I realized that something during the late cycle of Dolphin caused a bit more audio latency to kick in, which sounds like it's not that much of a problem other than you just turn up the audio latency in Guitar Hero and call it a day. But a lot of people were hitting the 200 millisecond audio latency limit, which is not the greatest. And what I found out is that the value I was using to detect the beginning of the song, actually the audio file starts playing before that, or it starts at a certain point in the audio file, and I was trying to detect that the player just crossed over the first 0.1 seconds of the song. So if you've got the audio latency turned up enough, and it's not specifically 100 milliseconds on the lag side, but if you've got the audio latency turned up enough, it doesn't start the song at 0 seconds. It starts at decently later and misses that. So a lot of song cleared detections weren't working, which was a bit unfortunate. So I had to fix that. Not too bad, just up the number. Some people had some issues with entering menus and exiting menus, and suddenly things were not detecting again. I still have a latent bug around playlists. I didn't really test with playlists very much because, I don't know, I'm just testing individual songs in quick play. So if you use either the playlist feature or you pick a random set of songs, you might get some weird behavior. I'll just tell you, please don't do that. If you're missing achievements in quick play, just do it simple. Just play that song, please. I'll try and sort it out, but the one latent one I have is that I didn't realize that the powers are, because I didn't test with multiple players too much as well, but the powers are actually all per player, except for the resurrection onks. So So I have to detect that not only, like, that you have the powers active, but it's like then I've also got to know which player you are and then check all the spots underneath the player to know that you're the one with these powers. And it's fine to detect whether you've got all the powers on, or often when you don't have any powers on, that's okay to detect. But especially for the power challenge mode, detecting that you have powers active, there's no consistent 1 or 0 value telling me that, like, oh, you know, you've got you've got your powers on, basically. Here you go, now you're in power challenge mode. I can't tell that you're in an active challenge. I can only tell that you have an ability on underneath the player, and I can't even tell which one in particular. I have to check all 8 of them. I might be able to wing all 7, because obviously if you have the Resurrection on, you have to activate 2. In fact, actually, you have to activate 2 powers, so I could skip 1 of them. But that's it. I can only skip 1. It's not consistent enough. It's not reliable enough to really not use, so I was hoping that there'd be a value somewhere for that, but that's okay. That's okay. We can wing it. I'm going to do the shameful thing as well, which is to check. I'm checking my overclock settings on the emulator core, because I'm actually curious if I've got it right. I'm really curious. I'm so sorry I didn't check my settings ahead of time. So hold on. Someone's gonna yell at me on this one. Where is it even set? It's on the advanced menu. It is set to less. Yes. Whoop. That's incredible. That's incredible. That was such a weird sound. But no, that's incredible that, yeah. I was like, why does it look like it's lagging just that ever so slight bit? And it's because I had the setting turned out. Yeah, exactly. So for reference, there's a setting in Dolphin that allows you to set the clock speed of the CPU core. And it doesn't feel perfect still. Maybe I have to restart the game. But yeah, no, there was... My biggest problem with the set is that obviously there are nearly 2,000... I always keep forgetting the types. There are nearly 2,000 achievements across all 4 sets. If you have multi-set enabled, you load them all in. And there's like 3,000, 4,000 leaderboards. There's a lot of... No, I think it's just about 2,000 leaderboards as well. It's not ridiculous anymore. Well, yeah, exactly. And after doing some benchmarks with the emulator and with the Retro Achievements client, and doing some like flame graphs and just kind of looking at what functions were using the most processing power, yeah, Retro Achievements is using half of the time spent to compute frames. So, and I was running it not unlocked, but when I was debugging, it was slower than 100%, so it was effectively unlocked. And yeah, the amount of time to process Retro Achievements was just as long as to render the frame itself, which is surprising and also a bit terrifying. And you get Sweepins evolved. Entei gets too much love because I always keep using him. And obviously that means that while you have Retro Achievements enabled, full stop, with all the sets at least, with that as the criteria, the game will run half the speed that it would otherwise. And obviously if you can run the game at 200% speed, well then it's no biggie. And I have a 13900K, which there's not many processors with a better single core than the 13900K. So it's not a particularly representative CPU for the majority of people, but it certainly shows that yes, at least it's possible with enough tweaking right now. But obviously, It's not perfect. I think the more ideal solution would be, can we figure out how to get retro achievements to use less and less processor capability? I noticed that there was a significant amount of frame time, like about 6% of the total frame, or 12% of the retro achievement side, spent towards checking the pause on reset and pause on trigger flags for every leaderboard and achievement. Those flags are used in the editor so that you can check the box and pause the emulator when the achievement triggers. Yeah, it's Windows reliant. Maybe there's a little bit of that. But all of those features, for example, are completely irrelevant in actual play. There is no reason why you need to, like, you'll never pause on reset or pause on trigger in real play. They're only there for the editor. And yet, they are there. They're sitting right there, ready, you know, constantly being checked. And why is the computation time for them kind of high? Well, every time the emulator tries to... well, not only does it take up space, but all of these properties are... There is a... how would I put it? There's an underlying... I think it's a vector. I think it's a C++ std vector. But there's an underlying vector. Everyone knows Shadow Ball. It's so irritating. Espeon will never get a level up at this rate. Do I have rare candies? I'm pretty sure I've got rare candies. But you can see it's like, oh, they're starting to get to level 56. Do they never give any rare candies in the game? I'm so shocked that there's no rare candies. You think that'd be like the... Not the most obvious, but like that'd be something quite like necessary to be giving the player in a game like this, especially when they're training Pokemon that they catch later on and don't have any opportunity to level up. I don't know, it seems a bit of an odd one to me. Part of the reason. But yeah, no, they're using a C++ vector underneath, and then they're using std lower bound. I think they're effectively, you know, it's a sorted list by insertion. And by insertion's fine, because you're only inserting, you know, when you're editing the achievements. So I think adding time complexity on insertion is perfectly fine. Adding time complexity on read is not good on access. And this is an O log n operation. This does indeed take up... well, it scales a little bit. I think obviously as well there's thousands of entries like this where they're all checking all their fields. Because remember, leaderboards have 4 states, or 3 states as well. It's got the start, the cancel, and the submit conditions. I really just should just switch out to handle that one, but yeah, Suicune is not the one right now. I should have switched to Meganium actually, but that's okay. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but then on the other hand as well, the biggest chunk of time is obviously I have so many conditions in my code that I need to check out, and probably the best thing would be figure out, can we curb some of those conditions here and there? I've got a handful of places I could save dozens, hundreds of condition lines maybe across the achievement set, which does claw back a little bit of performance, but only a little bit. It's not perfect. It's not exactly there and ready. So, and also on top of that, because I need to fix the part where the powers need to be calculated per player now, it's going to become a bit of a doozy to calculate this well, sorry, it adds more conditions because now I have to check for all 4 players all of these fields, and on top of that, for the power challenge ones, it adds more conditions. It's like, well, you could have this power, or you could have this power, or you could have this power. So I'm trying to see if I can tweak it around that I'm only getting a like a big or next chain to deal with that. I'm really ill-equipped to tackle this Magneton if it wasn't for Entei, but I didn't want to use Entei just because he's already super high level, but maybe I'd have to. Or we could just switch to Meganium and start using Razor Leaf on both of them. Who's been supersonicked? Umbreon? Maybe it is Umbreon's time to go. Might as well. Might as well just do the double switch, see what's going on. So yeah, so I would like to figure out how to at least remove some lines and stuff to make the set work. But on the other hand, it is awfully tight. That's one person, and I know he said it kind of in passing, but he sort of accused the set as being unoptimized, and I'm like, man, if only you knew how bad things really were. Like, I'm barely using any pointers in this stuff. It's all combinatorics. It's all just checking the same thing. No, it wasn't you, Fetty. No, someone on the forums. But it's all like checking combinations of everything to make sure that they are like that the player is in the right state, because there's too many possibilities of things, and just simple stuff like, oh, you know, like, how do I know that the player has played, or, you know, oh, sorry, say for example you're in a co-op band. How do I know that you have one guitarist, one bassist, one drummer, and one vocalist? Because I can't count all of them in the retro achievements logic. I can't go through each one, check that you have, like, you can only count numerically, you can't count conditionally. So, because, and because it's like, oh, you know, it's not like, oh, if you're a drummer, you're value 1, it's like, oh, it's a hashed value or some variety. Yeah, the dev tools will need to be augmented to make this a bit easier on me. Not impossibly, of course. Like, it's not prohibitive, but instead it's like, well, the way that you check that you have all 4 players is that you check that there are 4 active players, and there is some combination of the 4 instruments. So in this case, then I know that one player has to, well, at least the nice thing is that I know to detect a standard band, I know just, you know, don't look for a combination that has duplicate instruments. So in this case, there's 24 combinations that you can arrange the 4 players. They could be in any order, I don't know. So that's why there just has to be 24 alt groups. And on top of that, each one you have to keep checking that they don't have cheats on for the player themselves, because most cheats are applied to the player except for No Fail. I think it's the only one that's on the global level. Which is it's such an iffy one. Yeah, it's just too many things to check, and not like impossibly for one achievement, but it builds up. It's like the fact that every single achievement, every single leaderboard needs to be checking the exact same values to know that all the players are either active and have cheats disabled, or they're not active and I don't care. Like, all that stuff. It just adds up. And again, it's like, I don't mind it. How would I say it? It's not the end of the world because the set does work on my machine. And I don't want to say works on my machine, therefore just get bent. But obviously, there is an overhead with the Retro Achievements tooling that I would love to see diminished. And unfortunately, I don't have too much direct experience working with it. So there's not really any clear micro-optimizations I can really make to the data structures. I think maybe it's like, oh, I might be able to save individual lines here and there, but obviously I see the big things, and the big things have like complexity problems. Basically, they're not you know, impossible to shrink down, but by how much you can shrink them down, I don't really know. I'm trying to look for the big wins here. Try to see, is there something that's ON or maybe even O log n that could be toned down a bit, and that could save a bit of effort. Obviously as well, there might be something to seeing if we can invert the way achievement logic. I'm going to save Espion so I can get a bit of experience here. There might be a way so we can... There's the bot again. There might be a way to invert the achievement logic such that instead of going for every achievement, look at all the memory it watches and see what value it has, and instead try to figure out if maybe we can cache watched values and send them directly to you know, the individual leaderboards and stuff, and build up a whole report of that. Maybe do as much async as possible, because again, it's all single-threaded. All of this obviously is asterisked by, well, what's the cost of pulling this off? Because for everything that you change, you might be adding overhead somewhere else. So you need to watch out for that one. But I will also say this is affecting the Smash Brothers Brawl set, which has, I think they've got about 1,000 achievements total and quite a bunch of leaderboards. I don't know how many leaderboards, but certainly people who are playing Brawl have noticed some performance degradation. Brawl is, I think, a bit trickier to run as well. There's a bit more overhead with how the emulator works, so certainly people on Wii Sports... Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is that any game that ran on the limit, I think Rabbids Go Home is similar, any game that was a bit tighter to run, like it was quite intense, Retro Achievements is like, yeah, no, that's like insane on top of that. And remember as well, the sets are large. This naturally for many of these games, this is more and more... Rabbids Go Home does have a set. It is there, but it's not getting a lot of plays, I think, because a bunch of people are finding it's a struggle to get working. And that's the thing, I guess, is that, you know, what are the machines that people play Retro Achievements on? What's our hardware demographics? Because we really don't know. I don't think anyone at Retro Achievements actually does any data collection on performance. We obviously have, you know, our things we try to base things off of. Obviously, you don't want to make things worse or prohibitively too bad, but it is a bit of a black box. I don't actually know what kinds of machines people run things on. And obviously, people are most maybe not for Dolphin, but there's people running games on ARM chips. There's people running games on yeah, maybe a survey is in order, maybe. I'd love to figure out as well, Dolphin has so many settings, so many so that like I'm struggling to figure out if I'm looking at the right things when running these games again, or running this game again. So I would love to... Is Suicune about to cop it? I actually might swap Suicune out and just... I don't know, who could like take it? I guess Entei. I don't know, because Raiku's got the experience shares, so he's naturally going to be boosted up. I just want to have my team get experience and not die. Definitely getting up there in the levels though. Let's get that experience share off of Raikou and get it onto Espion, just so I can guarantee I'm getting that level. Yeah. But yeah, certainly I think the Wii is maybe a bit of a wake-up call for people who are not a wake-up call, but how would I put it? That's not the right word. But certainly, it's like, it is the borderline point for many people's hardware. They'll be like running stuff and suddenly it's like, oh, dang, like, this is too much for my computer to handle. And most emulation is very single core bound. I will always mention that one. And the easiest way to, well, the single core is most likely improved by future computer or CPU generations. Usually, there's always differences. There's sometimes quirks, like obviously people will mention the Bulldozer, and the Pile Driver, AMD CPU days, and also Arrow Lake recently, which both had regressive performance. They were not as good as they should have. They should have been, which is always good fun. This might be a weird one for everyone involved, actually, so I'm going to switch out to surprisingly Meganium. Let's see if we can start razor leafing these guys. And not to say, oh, your computer's old, sucks to suck, but certainly, like, there's got to be something that can be done to handle the retro achievements logic better. The iffy part, obviously, is that retro achievements has to be computed sequentially with the main thread. Like, that's probably one catch that we're seeing here. Emulators like Dolphin have figured out how to synchronize some things across threads, but retro achievements still very much is a strictly single core kind of process. It only works on the main thread, and it basically hooks in at the end of that process. So naturally, it is slower than... It will slow down any emulator, basically. The catch is obviously, well, is the emulator slow enough to begin with that you'd even notice? Hopefully not. That's why most of the oldest emulators that Retro Achievements has integrated with don't have any problems. Or they're light emulators, like MGPA is a good example of a very light one. Try and think of another one that's fairly light. I think PCSX... Sorry, PCXR? I don't know, that one for the PS1. It's also fairly smooth, fairly not PCSX2, not that one. Sorry, not PCSX2. The PS1 emulator. I keep thinking like EPSXE, not that one. That's never had retro achievement support. But certainly, like, lighter weight emulators have been fine. The advent of more and more, I guess generally I'll say the cycle accurate ones, they've been a bit more of a, bit more crunchy to run against. Obviously as well, Dolphin is not really, it doesn't aim to be cycle accurate. There can be optimizations in Dolphin over time to help improve the situation just in general. Like, obviously, if Guitar Hero runs better, then that'd be great, actually. If it uses less computer or less CPU time, because obviously once you hit 100%, then you're idling at some point, but the retro achievement stuff still needs to kick in at some point. Good old Huntail. Obviously it needs to kick in at some point, but yeah, it's like, well, what do we do? If we figure out, hey, maybe the retro achievement stuff can work on a secondary thread and just sync back, it might actually be the solution in this case, because I think obviously people would love to preserve the single core as much as possible. I guess the only problem is that if the retro achievements logic needs to... Here's the thing, does the retro achievements logic actually need to operate off of the current frame in terms of, like, memory? I know someone will go, oh yeah, like, when the frame renders, then you have to figure out, then you have to introduce the retro achievements logic so that we can know if you unlocked an achievement on this frame. But to me, I'm like, well, why not be on a 1 frame delay? Could that work? It might be a bit of a pain when you're when you're stepping through the emulator and things are not quite synced up. But maybe this is a setting. Maybe this is something where we go, hey, you know, maybe let's replace Psybeam with this. I think the rest of the moveset's all good. I know only 10 users, it's going to be a bit of a struggle town in maybe some of the longer scenarios, but what longer scenarios are even left in the game? The answer is none, I'm pretty sure. There is a dungeon, there is a post-game dungeon. We'll see how we go with that. That's half of this Mount Battle floor done. Seriously, these battles keep going on, they get longer and longer. My red hot battling! Chibi Riston. We got Gorybus as well. Do I wing Aurora Beam on Blossom? Maybe. We'll see what happens with Blossom here. It's really not that much damage. It really doesn't seem that much, so. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that is a solution where achievement logic is handled back a frame. So effectively, as the frame renders, the retro achievements logic for the previous frame happens on a separate thread, and then when that logic is deemed to be done, you know, we can sync up with the main thread also. Oh, should have swapped. Oh, we're still alive. Okay. I'm definitely swapping after this, though. I'm only spitballing, though. I think rather than write an issue, I'd probably actually implement this myself. I would leave this as a dolphin-only solution as well. I think whatever I'm thinking of, you know, and maybe if you wanted to, you'd also implement it in PCSX2 if you wanted to, but certainly it does feel like it's a dolphin-only issue because the sets are larger and Dolphin has the capability of working with this. And generally as well, most people have at least a dual-core system of some variety, or even a tri-core system or a quad-core system. I think dual-core systems are very on their way out. I don't think there's that many of them really that people use that much. I don't know. I don't think they're that commonplace anymore. So certainly, oh, it's a tricky one. You see Ampharos, you're like, ooh, what do I send out? I think we'd go with Entei. Does Miltank have? It's most likely got rollout, so maybe this is actually not the best move. But does he have Thick Fat? A PR from you would be nice. Maybe. I haven't raised anything directly with the Retro Achievements GitHub on that one, or really on anything, but I have mentioned that, like, this is where I'm starting to feel the problem, and obviously while I can try to trim out some things from my set, like, you know, the small things, like just stuff like, I realized that, well, if you have multiple players, you don't need to check for powers, because, in quick play mode at least, because there is no way to play with multiple people in, and have powers at the same time in game. Again, it's like, that saves maybe 11 lines per achievement and co-op leaderboard, which isn't. I mean, I think it's still like, you know, it's a solid few thousand lines saved, but it's like over the course of how many? It's just in the hundreds of thousands of lines, maybe. You know, you might be saving 1 to 3% of the processing. Might as well take it, but it's not the big win, unfortunately. People are looking for the big win, so let's see if Miltank ruins my day. Rendering or computing the game or the Retro Achievements logic on a separate thread back a frame feels like it can kind of fix the problem a little bit. Obviously, if the Retro Achievements logic takes longer than a frame, well, I'd say it was a problem anyways. like, I don't know, like, it's already a problem. Your game is already running molasses slow anyway, so, and unlike many other emulator features when they say, oh, you know, be careful when you're running, like, dual-core speed-up hacks or something like that, yeah, it complicates things a little bit, but it shouldn't lead to any inaccuracies or instabilities with stuff other than... Actually, no, I wouldn't even say other than, because, I mean, even if you've got network issues, ultimately, at the end of the day, there's a task, and is the task done? And if it's not done, then you wait for it. And all of that is happening on the side, hopefully. The only problem would be, obviously, activating the feature when you don't have enough cores, which I feel like, in this day and age, I don't know, man. I think everyone probably has enough cores. We've got Arrow Lake Refresh coming out later this week, hopefully, to end consumers for an alright price. I still don't know retail pricing. They always tell you the per thousand pricing, which is not accurate. Okay, we need this mill tank out of the way. Overall, though, I'd say generally the rollout's gone well, though, and obviously I think this is a teething issue, and we're always going to have teething issues, but and it's not to undermine as well. There's been a remarkable amount of work from so many more people. I did not really do that much. The only thing I really did was I implemented the Logitech microphone in Dolphin. I play tested a bit of just performance and gave some feedback as I was making my set, and then I made my set. So I definitely say the only credit I'd take is for my little corner of the rollout. I did not really do that much for everything. I'd probably say Wes on the site is very much legendary for having an alternate strat to the rollout. Originally, there was it was like, we're going live at this time, and then we realized that the site was probably going to get hammered around that time anyway, so the second option was to have people roll out their sets like in groups. So some people would be like, oh, you know, your set comes out now. Your set comes out like at this time and so and so. And it was strong. It was harsh enough even for one. And so I think Wes just said, okay, I've just turned off the site. Like, people can't go to the website right now. Everyone just deploy your sets. And he had a backdoor link, which I feel like I probably shouldn't mention, but I'll just change it at some point. And basically it authorizes your user and allows you to then go in and do the stuff. It was the nuclear option, but it also works. It allowed people to at least click the button and roll out their sets and all that stuff and get them all up on the site, because, you know, what's the point in the staggered rollout if, you know, people can't roll out their sets? So we're just like, just get it going. It didn't disable the API as well. That's the slightly important part. Most of the load of the website is the website, because that's what most people access. But yeah, this works against Skarmory. Yeah. I was like, it's still gonna resist it, and I don't believe it would have. No, so we're still dealing with level 56s. They haven't quite caught up yet. Oh, 57, okay. Like, what are we up to? 86? 87? I think we're up to 87, aren't we? There we go, there. Yeah, overall, yeah, fairly solid rollout. Actually, not even fairly solid. I think a lot of people probably say it's probably the smoothest one. The site hasn't crushed under the weight. There's been some optimizations and things to obviously fix up on, but generally, you know, it's like nothing actually did break that, you know, at all on the way. So, feels like a bit of a win. 3DS when? Maybe when Nintendo stops eyeing emulators, maybe. I'll still, like, my gut feeling is probably DOS would be the next one. And remember, they're doing a big dev jam still. So, I'm gonna get that first. Yeah, DOS would be nice. Mostly from the set support, from the, imagine dropping Future's site and it just fails like that. Absolute pain. But I feel like the relative lightness of the system should be at least a bit of a more comforting thing for a rollout. DOS continues to have the confusion of how to deal with, you know, like what is a DOS hash? It's a very complicated topic, and they've made good strides, but I feel like given the number of people in the Wii rollout who got bit by having WPFS files instead of ISO or RVZ, having lossy versions of their ROM sets, the DOS, yeah, exactly, as well. I think there's definitely a fair bit of work in the space. But I say this knowing not much of like how we've gotten to this point. I've seen some bits and pieces here and there, but I've not been directly involved with any of the DOS work. And again, everything I say is like, this is just me as someone. I make achievement sets every so often. I am not particularly engaged in a lot of the conversations that I can see internally, and obviously there's even more of them with the actual teams organizing all this stuff. Mostly, it might be, but again, it's like, you know, I guess it depends on the site under the hood. So, yeah, I'm curious. I was 87, there we go. You do need more training, my young Padawan, my young grasshopper. A lot of young people on Mount Battle. It's just kind of curious. He's got the wheezing. Well, this would be prime Espeon bait, wouldn't it? You know, I've absolutely forgotten. If poison's on the defense, do I use dark against it? I can. Just don't use poison and don't use rock. No, sorry. Don't use grass, don't use fighting, don't use poison, and don't use bug. The dark is safe. Okay. I've just completely blanked out on that one, sorry. None news. Someone made a framework for adding Chivo support, all Game Maker Studio. I think I know of the theory, if anything, as well. It's the same theory as RA Flash, because all Game Maker variables exist off of a master table. So all you have to do is just read from the master table of values and go from there. He's got the bomb. Ouch. It would be neat. Obviously, as well, it's like, I'm not too sure how many, like, how would I put it? For things like RA Flash, maybe you could make the argument of like, well, Flash could be a platform, maybe. But Game Maker, it's like, well, Game Maker is an engine rather than a platform. Because if it's like, you know, in theory, it's like we could do this with Unity. We could actually just say, hey, you know, like, why not write your achievement logic using, it just taps into, like, components and sees variables and just goes from that. In theory, one could write that very, very easily, and then we'd have some sort of integration, air quotes, for every single Unity game out there. And obviously, I feel like, well, the reason why we don't quite have that is because I think that the solutions for standalone as that kind of platform are very bespoke right now. And we don't really, there's not really a great consistency So instead, I think every game should be very, like, man for itself, kind of like it's implemented against the game to really do what it, you know, to detect the achievements. Write something very particular for the game. Obviously, it's good to use tooling to, you know, to generalize and make things easier for yourself. And obviously, it's easier to not reinvent the wheel if a game has its memory or has all of its variables in a certain way. Yeah, no, it makes sense to use tooling to help improve that, but I wouldn't say, oh, we'll suddenly have this big game maker category on retro achievements. I'm like, nah, I would still probably just say people should write standalones and just use like an additional library to maybe help handle that one. Maybe? I don't know, actually. But it is neat. And obviously, I think as well, like, you know, depends on the site, depends on what the site wants to do to handle things. I was gonna say you missed the beginning quotes on that one. I see the end quote, but not the beginning one. That's okay. Oh, Paris song. Here's a question. I'm curious which Game Maker games would be throwing out into the... Also, Paris song working on everyone. It's all good. Yeah, at the end of the day, like, the all standalone achievements are really just, not saying raw dog coded, but yeah, like you do make a library built against the game to handle the achievement logic, and then what shows up in retro achievements is just like, did I get this achievement has changed from false to true in the valid way. Which is, I think that's actually a really good way of going about it, because then it means, hey, we can actually implement all the complex logic that we need to, and not have to worry about dealing with retro achievements logic. But on the flip side, it's like the barrier of entry is you have to program, you have to be able to do that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm curious about. It's like, to generalize it out and make it easier for everyone would be to somehow generalize out Game Maker stuff to be written in a retro achievement supported way. I hope they're interested, yeah. I mean, the obvious Game Maker game I can shout out off the top of my head is Undertale. There's bound to be several more. I keep thinking of the RPG Maker ones, though, so... Wasn't Proteus made in Game Maker? Or is that a Unity game? Maybe it's a Unity game. I wonder what this guy's name is. Oh, he's got the double whammy right here. Deltarune, Hyperlight, yeah. Spelunky Classic, yeah. I think the original Risk of Rain is as well, isn't it? These guys might kick my butt, but I know they're both rock type. Yeah, let's see how this goes. Oh, so bulky. How does he do it? Where does he keep those pounds? Armaldo reminds me of another Pokemon that I use. Pizza Tail. Oh yeah, Pizza Tail, yeah. Oh gosh, I'm never going to be able to defeat this Cradley. Maybe we'll go a bit harder on Armaldo. Just see. Downwell. Yeah, there's plenty of Game Maker games. I'm curious about, I guess on the other hand as well, obviously, how would I put it? There's a bit of the spirit of the retro achievement site, and obviously I think the Wii is like borderlining so many things. Like people obviously will ask the question, is Just Dance 2020 a retro game? Because it's on retro achievements, and despite being called 2020, I'm pretty sure it came out in 2019, but it's like 2019 is not that long ago. That makes that, you know, by far the newest game on the website. How many of these Game Maker games are in the spirit of a retro achievement? Obviously, Undertale is a very old game. That game came out in 2014, fellas. Came out a while ago. We do have Archie-Boy and Wasm 4, but both of those have a bit of a design principle of they are lower end. Like they intentionally mimic a virtual machine that is light in its hardware. Maybe not Wasm 4 actually. I think in theory you could do some wild stuff for that. Yeah. So I do wonder where we draw the line. PS2, I feel like, well, the hardware is very old, but obviously people can then point to the fact that, you know, it could have had FIFA 14. It hasn't. No one has wanted to do a FIFA set, but it could have had FIFA 14. And that's been there for quite a while, that, you know, the emulator support. So obviously, I do like having achievements, but at some point, yeah, like, you know, how would I put it? Not attracting too much attention, in the sense of, like, I don't think it's in the best interest to slam achievements on every single game in such a short amount of time. Or at least, like, how would I put it? Like, just because we got the support, I guess the question is, are people starving for achievements for those kinds of platforms? This is a prioritization question as well. It's not a should we do it, it's more a when does it get done kind of question. I'm more concerned about this Heracross here. The Cradley is too bulky right now. Well, that's the thing, is that, like, you know, as a bit Debbie Downer as it may seem, I feel like, yeah, like, putting in all this effort just to implement, get rid of Heracross, man. I gotta get him out of here before he keeps mega horning everyone. It's flying type, isn't it, Mega Horn? Yeah. But yeah, it's like, obviously, I think there needs to be a demand in playing these kinds of games, and I think people will definitely say, oh, but Undertale would be great. I'll agree on that front, somewhat. But I think people generally want to figure out how to handle the PC game situation. Oh, this is a bit iffy. Ancient Power's already a bit of an iffy move right there. Please don't boost your stats off that one. Okay. We need to get rid of this Cradley, like, ASAP. I don't exactly have a great method for dealing with this, but I feel like Ninetales chilling there, can't go too much. Oh my goodness, man, he's just chilling there. How I would kill for a fighting type attack, but as I consult all of my move lists, not a single Pokemon in my list can learn maybe I actually get rid of Ninetales, I don't know. Not a single Pokemon in my party can learn any fighting type attacks. Like, not a single attack. Oh, sorry, Rock Smash. Maybe. Which is a garbage move in these older games, but also it's not in this game as a TM. I can't learn it. Oh. I'm a bit concerned because I should have taken a bit of time just to spam a revive, but... Which I know I don't get any money from this, but... It's not the end of the world, because at the end of the day, I'm here to gain some levels. And I feel like I've achieved some levels, so that's a good sign. My dropper reflects, just to... see if we can be a bit bulkier against the Cradley. It's the last one left, so... but yeah, no, I am surprised that no one on my party knows a fighting type attack, or can learn one, rather. Yeah, somewhat exciting, yeah. That's going to be a bit of an iffy one if the confusion hits, but should be able to get through pretty easily. Just, I don't know. I guess I have to use Psychic, even though he's used Amnesia a few times. Because, I mean, if you get the crit, then you bypass his weakness, or his resistances anyways. Ouch. EU is making Nintendo develop a new revision of the Switch 2. I have not heard of this news, actually. So let me know what is the requirement for the revision. And also whether it involves recalls of the existing hardware for EU customers. I'm curious if... I know that sounds like... recalls might sound like quite harsh, but it's like, yeah, sometimes it might be like that. About making the battery of the console really replaceable. Oh, okay. I'm curious if that makes it, you know, work better or not if, you know, if the battery has... well, sorry, if the size of the battery remains the same, okay, it probably won't change how it performs, but... I think the Switch 2's battery is fair. It has about the same battery life as the original Switch, but I think the processor on the Switch 2 is a bit more power hungry, so... it works out okay. But still, it's just like, yeah, you know, if you could replace that, oh, that'd be cool, you know? Alright, one more battle for Mount Battle. Bum. So, I'd feel like rather than a recall, I feel like Nintendo has to honor anyone wanting to switch over, maybe. Maybe that sounds about right, I don't know. Someone who lives in the EU, or not even just lives, but knows their laws, might be able to illuminate me a bit more on that one. There we go. Okay, this is a curious scenario here, because I don't have my Ice type attack. Actually, I do have an Ice type attack on the ready, so this Tropius is probably Toastius. It's like when... yeah, but that... how would I put it? That one didn't affect current models. They added the lore in later, which then required Apple to then change or start selling chargers that were USB-C, but I don't think they could, like, retroactively say, hey, all of your lightning-based ones were illegal. I think the lightning cable situation is, like, the silliest thing in the world. I don't know why Apple went so, like, hard into creating their own standard and then committing to their standard well after USB-C was a thing, because, for people who don't know, Lightning operates over USB. It's just the USB protocol. It doesn't do anything different. It's just wired, you know, a bit differently so it can do the reversible stuff. But it communicates over the USB protocol. So in theory, it shouldn't be really any work for the software other than like the, you know, the microcontroller and the USB-C cables. Every single one of them, Texas Instrument is making 20 cents. It's kind of annoying. I'm curious if this guy's got a fire or a weak to fire team. Although Ludicolo here is always an interesting one to go up against. Because of that, every time. Well, Yeah, we'll keep putting the pressure on Ludicolo, I don't know. Replaceable battery, it is nice. I'm curious, I guess, what is involved with changing that, but I was expecting something bigger, but you know, replaceable battery is I'll take it kind of thing. I'm curious as well if they'll do that for other markets, like for future ones, if they'll just be like, well, we made the battery replaceable, we might as well just commit to having a replaceable battery in all the units. Whereas Apple, oh my goodness, Apple, I will never forgive them for nah, let's get Raikou and start thundering. This Ludicolo is gonna get very annoying otherwise. But I'll never forgive Apple for there's an EU crackdown on like third-party app stores and stuff like that. So if you're in the EU, you're able to download third-party apps and stuff like that on your iPhone. And the moment you leave the EU, Apple immediately... Yeah, this is not fun. Ow, jeez. The moment you leave the EU, Apple has implemented stuff to detect that and then immediately clear all your third-party apps because it's not, you know, they're not legally forced to let you have them anymore. Well, at least now I can use Thunder, but it's kind of annoying they're both fighting over this. Let's see if we can hit the, I mean, Thunder will hit because it's raining now. Oh, I should have maybe hit Ludicolo on that one. Let's hope Fire Blast hits. Of course it doesn't. At least that missed. And then we're back to Sunny Day. So I might just commit to Flamethrower then. Alright, Raikou doesn't need to do anything. Use a quick attack on that one. And he is very dead. Really loving the fire types on, or the grass types on this one. And you've set up Sunny Day, which might be very hit or miss for me. Our animation is Y scale goes down. We'll get there. I've got a little piece of news, but again, I think Fetty, you just gotta dump your news on me. Just go for it. What do I use against Blossom? Maybe Thunder, actually. I don't know, actually. It's a tricky one. Shiftry might be like Earthquake spam. But Blossom might be Solar Beam spam. Final Fantasy IX is getting an animated series. I did hear of this one though. I did hear of this one. But I haven't played Final Fantasy IX, so don't spoil anything. I don't know why you use Solar Beam on Entei, but okay, sure. I know people like Final Fantasy IX, but the next RPG I'm picking up is Xenoblade. I'm about to pick that one up, so... no animated series for that one. Oh, I'm getting hit by 2 Solar Beams this turn. Ah! The sequel series focus on Vivi's children. Okay, yeah. I feel like rather than telling anything about it, just mention Final Fantasy IX and just be like, that's it. I don't know, man. I don't know anything. Okay, you're gonna tell me all this stuff. 10 episodes, 22 minutes long. That seems weird if it's 10 episodes. It seems like it was made for streaming rather than being like a, you know, a typical anime season. Which means there's Netflix behind this. Who knows? Sure to get your coupons. Oh, it's a Western animation. $1,000. Oops. Wrong one. No, I would like to stop. There we go. Wait, so he asks you to stop and then he just, like, prompts you for the Abra anyways later. I was remembering for that. Alright, I'm gonna save, and you can see how sort of weirdly visually laggy things have been over time. I will spend 2 minutes sorting this out. And I thought save would be good because then I can restart the game for a hot moment. So we're going to intermission for a very hot second while I fix this up. But I assume it's because I have had that setting on the VBI frequency. It's kind of annoying. The thing doesn't snap to whole numbers in the way I want it to. Just kind of irritating menu, isn't it? So for reference in Dolphin, you can actually change the clock override, which I feel like I had disabled that, but as you can tell, it was like, oh, it was running a bit weird. Oh my gosh, I can't even like nail the frequency on this. It goes up in like increments of 3, so I just need to like get the right percentage. They didn't make this easy on me. There we go. Okay. Disable both of those. Well, hopefully we're good. Maybe we're not. Okay. Anyways, back to the game. Oh. Aspect ratio. There's only one big news that happened last week to discuss. The release of Crimson Desert, which I haven't played. I do have a Crimson Desert mention in a news piece. I would like to... the Nvidia keynote. You're going to mention DLSS 5. I've got that in my news as well. Yeah, this might be better. Yeah, this might be visually better. Okay. All that laggy lands, can't explain it. Can't explain it. Anyways, I feel... Oh, before I fully leave, I feel... Yeah, the big news. I've got my Nvidia keynote talk, so maybe I mentioned that. But we're gonna buy Ice Beam. It was obvious. Yeah, exactly. The obvious thing is that Nvidia has Olaf the Snowman in real life, and he is not melting over everything, which is very odd. So there we go. Ice Beam. Suicune. Yes. Goodbye, Aurora Beam. There we go. But yeah, no, the Nvidia keynote, it was actually hilarious. I had a chat with my cousin, and he mentioned the Nvidia keynote. I was like, yeah, you watched it. And he's like, he doesn't know what a token is. And I'm like, yeah, no, yeah, actually. Yeah. It's all over the place, the discussion around all this stuff, but Nvidia's keynote was basically the same as every other Nvidia keynote that they've generally done. A token is a bundleized representation of the input vector, basically, to a neural network. It's not necessarily one word. It might be multiple words if you're dealing with a language model. It might be a handful of pixels or other sorts of details. It's certainly fungible. It's definitely fungible. I know I'm saving here just because I walked the distance. But hopefully with... Hold on, he had Machamp as well. So I should be sending out Espeon up front. Yeah, Espeon and Suicune up front. But I don't know, maybe he'll start with a different team and I'm going to be kind of upset. How dare you base your team based around stuff like that? Isn't it weird if they actually did that? This game is filled with so many little changes that would make my life so much harder on me. But generally, Nvidia's keynote went the same way. Jensen sort of rambled for a while, and he kept talking about many same concepts he usually always does. So the AI factories and like the factories that build AI, like, you know, like kind of the self-replicating thing, which doesn't happen yet. I'm pretty sure it's still been a while. Listen, I love his vision of the future in ways. And I do think that, hey, when we can get to that point of self-replication, that'd be amazing. But we're not there, and every time self-driving cars gets like an actual demo, it just disappears from the limelight for a while, which is always a bit of a shame. Because it's like, I wish we were there. I wish it was like ready, but it's not. It's clearly not ready for the daytime right yet. Are you prepared to be devastated? I shall humiliate you. Oh no. Oh no. Well, here we go. Oh, he sent out Sizzle this time. Oh, he does send out different guys. Trillions more, exactly. We need trillions of dollars. Absolutely trillions of dollars. So obviously, as you mentioned, DLSS 5 was mentioned at the beginning of their keynote. They did not have... I don't know why they announced DLSS 4.5 like really recently. And suddenly now we're already at DLSS 5, which they only discussed in terms of effectively what people have described as a beauty filter. They showed it off particularly on humanoid characters and not on environments, which I feel like is a massive blunder right there. Yeah, Silverwind's going to kind of be annoying. We have the technology, we can bring him back. Because at least Espeon's fast. At least I can use Espeon in a turn. Oh, this is a mighty combo right here. But yeah, no, yeah, the reaction to DLSS 5 has certainly been mixed. And I think the obvious thing is that if you, like, and I encourage you as a person, like, open another tab, bring up, if you haven't seen it, bring it up, and you know, look at the videos in particular. That's what you're basing this off of. And I feel like it was a very big misstep, because where I feel that video games have been struggling with their attempts at realism for many years has been its animation. Obviously, when things are stylized, when things are not based on real things, we don't have a frame of reference, and so it's okay. But humans move in a certain way, and all video game characters move like video game characters. They are very much video gamey from the very beginning. I mean, it is temporally stable, so when people say it doesn't work in motion, I think it's more the fact that they're... Oh, I hope it's temporally stable. They only showed off so many examples, so... I'm gonna keep Umbreon out just because I might be able to chip a little bit of damage off of the champ, if I can pull this off just right. Hopefully an Ice Beam. No Double Edge will deal a bit of damage, but... Okay, never mind. That wasn't that much recoil. But yeah, no, it does look real rough, and there's no going about it. It's a real rough looking demo. And I think that, yeah, the problem is that it doesn't, like, it kind of makes things look more on the real side, but did I ask for more real in terms... Oh, delicious. Delicious. Cut rid of Salamence in one go. Thank you, Machamp. You're probably going to deal more damage to Slacking than I could have asked for. decent bit of damage, yeah. Part of me kind of wants to keep Machamp up just so he can keep using Earthquake as well. He is gone. I'm going to use this turn as a revive turn. I think it's fair game to bring Entei back. Suicune can be my... I guess we'll use Surf. Special attacks will be good on slacking because his physical defense is kind of high. Should move first, so that should get Machamp at the very least. Unfortunately, I got to deal with the Slowking, but we got this. We got this. It feels good now that I've actually got like a couple of moves that are really good, even though I only used... I did use them both, yeah. It is weird where it's like, oh, you know, some of my Pokemon are getting close to level 60, so I'm not actually too far off the mark now. I don't know, do I just cop Ice Beam, or do I use... No, I need Electric on this one, so actually, yeah, we'll use Ice Beam. We'll just deal a good amount of damage on slacking. Because Slowking... Someone had a fun one with slacking and Slowking in the same fight. Unless he uses his full restore, of course, which will kind of be a bit annoying, but... He probably will use a full restore on this one. Here's the thing, if I can take out slacking right now, then it means Slowking will have this worthless ability. That's how it works, right? Yeah, yeah. Oh no, he didn't. And he missed, which means I've got him on this turn. You know, I think I've just gotten lucky on this one. I say lucky knowing full well, and you know full well, we still have one last challenge. Well, we haven't done it yet. We've only gotten past the slacking and 3 other Pokemon. We have yet to catch the Shadow Pokemon. And I will still say, I'm going to reset if we don't get this guy. We need to be able to get him. Tyranitar is... he's only level 55 at the very least. But he does have Sandstream, which is... I guess not the end of the world, because it's not going to hit him. But, also, Tyranitar has a catch rate of 45, which makes it one of the more mid-level catches in the game. So it's actually not as bad. Remember, Metagross was 3. That's why I used the Master Ball on him. I don't really have a strat right now, so other than throwing Rain Dance and... No, he's got Thunder, actually. Let's not do Rain Dance. I see his move list, so he's got Shadow Rush as always, and then he's got Thunder, Blizzard, and Rock Slide, which are all mean moves. So maybe I'd use this turn just to, like, drop a revive on Umbreon. I think Umbreon will have a better chance in surviving the rest of this. X-Attack? X-Attack. Double X-Attack turn. X-Attack on Slowking? Really? That's interesting. So, he is Rock-type. So, this should do a little bit. Tyranitar's a great Pokemon. I do like him. I mean, he is the, you know, like the Dragonite, Salamence tier Pokemon in 2nd gen. Alright, let's see if we can drop Raikou out and just get rid of this Slowking. Because once I drop him down to 1 Pokemon, that saves my sweat a bit. I was expecting a full restore at some point. I really was expecting a full restore, but okay. He's going a little easy on me. Just a little. Alright, so we got a decent team of Pokemon plenty of revives, and he's on half health. So, obviously he still has Shadow Rush. Yeah, I mean, I've still got some Ultra Balls as well. So, obviously he's still got Shadow Rush, so he could still knock himself out. I would like to figure out if I could get a status effect on him. But my odds aren't too bad. We've had harder catches than this one. 45 on half health. I think we've got like a 20% chance on a catch. Yeah, there's 14 Ultra Balls in there in case I really want to. I don't really have a great one to weaken him down with though. Quick attack maybe. It's just a mild attack. I mean, he's on half health, but he's not like, he's not going to knock himself out today. Listen, every time I see the second shake, my eyes light up. I go, ooh, is this time? Is this time? But no, it's not time. Maybe quick attack is a bit too, like, chip damagey. That's okay. That's okay. I've still got plenty of guys in the mix. Although certainly I will use this opportunity to revive instead of attack. That's what our revives are for. We're just burning them on this fight. Here we go. So let's Pokeball him. And then let's revive Meganium, because Suicune is just going to get annihilated. Blizzard's only a 5 PP move, isn't it? Or is it 10? It is a 5 PP move, yeah. And I don't think Rock Slide is that high either. Yeah, it's 10, so he's probably not like the furthest away from getting into Struggle Town. But, he's probably going to use Shadow Rush and kill himself well before that, so maybe I actually shouldn't really be hitting him at all. Is this Sandstorm going to kill Umbreon? That's kind of annoying. Yeah, it is. Ah, that's okay. Back to Meganium. But yeah, isn't it weird that like I've actually got a shot at the end of the game now? It feels like it's been such a long time coming. Every Pokemon game, I can't explain why. I've always been very terrible at the end of a Pokemon game, and it's just been, oh, I need to grind. I need to do this to get my levels up a bit. Somehow I just arrive at a significantly lower level, and I'm not too sure if that's because I'm purposefully ignoring things or I'm so good at everything else that the actual statistical, like, you're behind has caught up to me. I'm really not too sure. I feel like part of it is that these earlier Pokemon games truly are a bit more difficult than maybe some people give them credit for. And I'm just going to call, even though I know I can drop his health down. I'd prefer to just keep throwing balls and having a bit more chance on this one. We got 2. I called it way too early. Listen, if he looks like he's about like 2 hits away, I'm gonna start throwing Ultra Balls. I want this to be over. I really want like this part of the game to be over. I know I've sort of got to like thrust myself in order to get that Houndoom, which I technically need, but you know what's the nice thing? I can die at any point in the middle, or I could just actually sweep his team. Either one works. Get some experience, There we go, Pokeball. But yeah, while I do like these mechanics, it's like, yeah, but oh my goodness, man, it's a frustrating endeavor. Because, catching things has never been a particularly, like, stressful moment in a Pokemon game. It's like, I gotta deal with Tyranitar, and he's level 55. You're rarely catching stuff that's that strong. Hey, we got there in the end. We got there in the end. Game, set, and match. Pokemon Colosseum is officially a beaten game, according to me. Even my ultimate Pokemon. Halt! Stop where you are! There's no getting... You violated the law! You can't arrest me, I'm the mayor! I run this town! Cypher's finished... I've forgotten all these accents. Cypher's finished! The Shadow Pokemon plan ends now! Hey, mayor, you're right. Pikachu. Blast you! Don't you forget what you've done, Biendeo. It won't end this way next time. I will ruin you the next time, I promise you that. No, he's trying to escape with that helicopter. How are you going to get there? A bid to take over the world using Shadow Pokemon hasn't ended yet. Oh. Oh. Your plan, I think it just ended. What? Everest, you and your cronies are under arrest. I think that was the British guy. What is that? There he goes. It's a legendary Pokemon. It's a Ho-Oh. I like how they say it's a Ho-Oh. Like, there's multiple of these, and maybe, Pokemon canon always has everyone catching their own legendary Pokemon, but it's like, I always feel like there really should be one of various Pokemon. I don't know. Oh wow, so Ho-Oh was watching over us. Biendeo, I guess it's finally over. We face a lot of challenges, but thanks to you, Biendeo, everything has been resolved. Biendeo, thank you. You were strong. You answered the call. We got a Ruby Gilman reference in our Pokemon game. Look at that. Ho-Oh is so close. So true. This is the first time I've ever seen one up so close. Pyrrhal and Biendeo, the Ho-Oh is blessing you for your victory. Sup, Tom? Such a perfect outcome. Yes, indeed. There he goes. You know, he's a bit smaller in person, actually. He's still cool. Remember, Ash died at the beginning of the anime, and everything has been a fever dream ever since he saw that Ho-Oh. But that's it, we did it, we're done. Tom showed up, the game's finished already. I'll do a little bit more on this stream, just because we're a bit shy of 2 hours, or 2.5 hours as I've been doing. There is still a tad more left in the game. Probably not a ton more. And I'm not too sure how much I really want to show off and how much I'll just mention, because at the end of the day, I've got to be able to fight against a team of level 68s. Maybe a bit of the post-game might train me for that, but I'm not too sure if I'll be exactly ready for it, but who knows. How was? Listen, after I got my team to, like, mid-50s on average, although I think Suicune was still level 50, oh my gosh, mental blank. Oh my gosh, freaking Espeon. I don't know why it took forever to think of the name Espeon. Espeon was level 49. I'm a bit on the lower side still for some things, but at some point I was like, okay, I know he's going to send Machamp and Salamence at the beginning, and then he didn't send Salamence, he sent Scizor, but you know what, at least I could one-hit Salamence, I could one-hit Scizor. Slacking would get a lot of chip damage from Earthquake. Slowking isn't that much of a problem once Slacking is gone. And then at that point, it's like, well, you've got Tyranitar and Slowking, so just get the Slowking out of the way, and then we're set. So, is it a good game? I'd say it's a good fighting game. Certainly a different kind of Pokemon game. Certainly a harder kind of Pokemon game. So, give it a go if you actually do want a really hard Pokemon game. What makes it hard? I think it's partially just the limitations of what you're able to work with, and also how little you really get to train. Like, imagine a Pokemon game that's entirely geared towards the mid to late game. You start at level 25, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have to be doing tackle span. And in turn, it means that you don't really have effort values, and generally your opponents catch up in levels so quickly. Now granted, you get 3 legendaries. quite like mid to, you know, mid-game, so I think generally using the legendaries was a bit on, you know, it made my day a bit easier, but I don't know, I don't think there's any shame in that one. It's curious that they made 2 of these games, and then they just never made any other RPGs on the console. Obviously, now we've got Legends Arceus, we've got, like, spin-off games that I feel seem competent enough that I would count them in the mix. Also, we're back here with an email. An email, of all things. That's myself and Sek and Pyrite, developed a new system of downloading data automatically to your PDA. From now on, information about Shadow Pokemon should arrive directly from people connected to the network. Wow. Okay. That's all cool, so. You think he'd have a different line of dialogue somewhere. Probably don't need to buy more Pokeballs. I've got 119 and we've got 6? I think we've got 7 more Pokemon to get. It's not that many. According to authorities, there's a criminal syndicate seeking well done. That's it. No, it's not. I know exactly what's the next game I'll play. Hi. Did I just get another email here? Suspicious looking Pokemon spotted in Pyrite. Okay. So anyway, I believe in the post-game you're allowed to fight a lot of people again. Yeah, this menu was laggy lands on the old emulator settings. Jeez. Oh, that's what I get for tweaking my settings too hard. I think that guy's gonna rematch me if I talk to him. We could have. But yeah, no. The only other things I've really had to say, because we talked about the rollout and all that stuff. Where are these people hiding? Are they in the shed here, or large gears? He's really just telling me about the windmill. You know, it's a kind of unceremonious post-game if I can't find where anyone is. They're probably in the not in the hotel. They'd probably be in Duking's place, wouldn't they? Yeah, I didn't finish talking about the DLSS 5 thing, so give this a check. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't like the look of the DLSS 5 filter on people. I think that the way the lighting works feels unnatural in the sense that it doesn't accurately feel like the lights are coming in the world like that. There's this rogue called Kale who hangs around Pirate's entrance. Sounds like Kale recently battled with this creepy trainer. They say that this trainer used some weird Pokemon. I think you should have a talk to Kale about this. Okay, sure. Okay. But I don't hate the concept of using, I feel like calling it DLSS is like we are so far removed from what is, like, super sampling. That's what it stands for. Deep learning super sampling. We are not super sampling anymore. Like, what is going on here? But, like, I don't mind the idea of using neural networks to approximate how light bounces around a scene and on geometry and on people and stuff like that. I like that idea because it's like, well, you know, how many things can we approximate? They all broke out. Well, rip. Rip him. But yeah, it's like, in practice, I don't think it's there yet. And I complain that animation is not quite there yet. And I know... Only if you can beat me. Okay. There he goes. I'm curious how strong his team is. 56. We got a Gardevoir in the stream. Yeah, see, my team isn't like that over level. Well, it's not over level at all. These are on the low 50s, but that's okay. We can handle this. let's let's just go for a surf, a good old surf. But yeah, now I've got Psychic and Ice Beam, I feel like I've got some stronger attacks to suddenly start dealing with enemies. And that was sort of what I was lacking for most of this game. Are these his only 2 Pokemon, or did he have a full team of things? That'd be a shame if these were his only 2 Pokemon. Gardevoir's gonna... Oh, it is his only 2. Oh no, he's got Shift Tree. Everyone's got a Shift Tree these days. I think that's like the 3rd or 4th one I've seen this stream. Also, light screen. But yeah, I don't hate the concept of the DLSS, whatever they're gonna call it, but I don't like the execution. And on top of that, it does seem like it's yet another DLSS feature, like ray reconstruction and sort of like the transformer models, depending on how you looked at it, where it's not going to improve performance. This is going to, you know, be a visual boost at some slight cost, which always feels a little weird for lumping it all into DLSS. I guess maybe it's just because marketing. It's easier to market all of your visual enhancement features under DLSS and call it a day. I prefer if they use the name RTX in many cases. Oh, jeez. How about you just optimize your games? Well, this will be a visual, like, optimization, I guess. So as in where, you know, they're taking a game that runs pretty fine. I think most people think the performance of Resident Evil 9 at the very least, or Hogwarts Legacy by these days. It's perfectly fine. And, just, yeah, like, yeah, just try to drastically improve the quality of the visuals without, you know, without too much grunt. But I don't know. I don't think this is an execution quite the best thing. Or better yet, maybe they should have treated it or shown the demo in more static scenarios. I think a lot of people really think that there's a lot of great looking. I remember when Unreal would always show off Nanite, and they'd always show it off with their like rocky canyon environments. And it looks great because rocks are very easy to draw. Light does disperse off of them. Also, this is the last move Espeon learns. Morning Sun. It's like Synthesis, but different. As much as healing is fun, do I need it? Probably not. He's the champ. This is sort of like a rematch of the previous fight, isn't it? I would like this Gardevoir gone. The champ might just use Earthquake on me. Okay, sure then. It's a bulky boy though, I'll tell you that. Look away. I know. But yeah, other than that, there wasn't really that much in the conference for regular laymen. I was expecting an announcement of at least another workstation card or anything, but really, there wasn't even a real product to purchase at the end of the day. The only thing that people can tangibly be using in, you know, after this demo or after the presentation is maybe they'll interact with the Olaf robot at a Disneyland near them, which I find, you know what I mean? It's like, well, a lot of people are gonna say hi to that Olaf, I guess. Oh, really? Hyper Potion? Ugh. X Speed? Really? Cheeky lad. Cheeky lad with the X Speed. Am I meant to say Cross Speed, or I just always say X? I wish I had Brick Break or any fighting type attack, please. Well, at least the light screen wore off. At least there's that. But yeah, nothing really else. They talked, you know, a lot about the demos and kinds of things. There was an extended part on how OpenClaw has taken over the world, which I continue to mention. I feel like they conflated the number of likes on GitHub as therefore it makes it the most important project on GitHub. And I'm like, no, because they put this in the presentation. They compared like, oh, how fast its growth has been, which liking things on GitHub doesn't mean that much. It's nice, and obviously it's a neat metric to see for visibility, but it's like, it doesn't mean much. You can make an account on GitHub in seconds and then hit like on any project. I think obviously why OpenClaw has reached a large amount of popularity is because it is a step towards that dream vision, and also it's a really neat project by one guy in a fairly short amount of time, but people should not use this for important things, please. There's security issues all over the place. That's fine, but like, yeah, it's like, with great power comes great responsibility, and people forget that it ain't perfect. He used Quilava. He was at the Snag'em hideout. Oh, the Snag'em hideout. Well, now that we know about the Snag'em hideout, oh my goodness, there's another dot on the map. We can finally go back to that location. Let's head to... I think Mountain Battle will probably be the safest one to heal and save. Not the end of the stream. We're gonna check out the hideout, see how far we go. We're gonna keep taking the original team, of course. It's kind of weird. There are still some shadow Pokemon to catch, and it's like, why would I ever switch to them at this point in the game? Like, obviously, there's the guy with the Quilava, and you might be wondering, what level is the Quilava? And the answer is, still 30. We're gonna see that. It's like, oh, it's still 30. And then, obviously, I gotta go back for, thingy. But I'm curious, how much can I clear off today? And whether I'll just be like, that's it. I don't know. I'm curious how much I want to show off in terms of Houndoom went. Yeah, like, here's the thing. So I'm tossing in my head, how much do I show off in terms of, like, I'm showing it off on stream, and how much I just show off in terms of a bonus video? I think I might just bonus video the rest of this. Like, we'll do the Snag'em hideout now. Might as well show you what it's about. But, like, other than that, like, that's kind of it. So read the email. There we go. It's called Rosso. Oh my goodness. If only we knew his name. It's kind of fun that we do get to go back here, though. At least. Oh, I thought that'd be a place to walk. Oh, they put a save right here. I do like the music in this game. I like how many things have the same themes ported over to various songs. Oh no! So I don't think every trainer here has a shadow Pokemon though. But yeah, no, we'll see how far we go. But I might just bonus video the rest of this, just because it's like, oh, we're up to stream 9, and I do kind of want to move on at some point. I do want to start showing off some other games. I'm glad we at least got to the end of it. Physic. Ah, it's a good feeling to deal damage finally. Fortress. Don't worry, I don't have to catch Fortress. Again, I think, actually. I've already got a Fortress. Rip that Ninjask. But yeah, the only other thing I'd really mention in the conference is the Vera Rubin architecture, which we didn't really get to see too much of, but curiously they are selling the Vera CPU part of the Vera Rubin big systems and their ARM CPUs. I think obviously they'll be sold with systems, but they'll be sold as CPUs, not necessarily with all the Nvidia stuff on them. Or I mean, they're still Nvidia CPUs, but like they're not going to have a GPU or all the interconnects on board to do all the crazy stuff that they do in the data center. They'll just be like, hey, here's a CPU, and we'll chuck ConnectX on it, and have high bandwidth networking between multiple devices if you want that. But that's kind of interesting. It's because I guess like one thing I guess is that the kits that they release right now for say for example the like the little Blackwell, the GB10 I think is what it's called, little mini PCs. It's like, well, they use licensed ARM chips, but they're not like the Nvidia designed ARM chips. And I'm curious if maybe Nvidia wants to get into the whole like non-GPU accelerated server space. And casually they talked about this. Like, you think, oh, wouldn't everything be AI accelerated in the future? And yet clearly, Nvidia here is, they're smelling what's happening. They're smelling what's about to happen. They know they can't forever sell the GPUs for every single use case in the world. And that's Nvidia themselves, like, coming up with that kind of reasoning. So, to me, I think that's probably the most interesting part of the presentation is like, hey, Nvidia doesn't quite have full faith in... does Espeon have experience share still? And I've just been sending Espeon out first. Maybe I get Umbreon up to speed. Maybe. And if they don't, why should we? Well, yeah. Now, obviously, I'm trying to read between the lines here. Maybe there's a bit more to it. But I do feel like, hey, yes, we can't keep chucking, neural nets into every single use case, because obviously not every use case needs to be predictive. Or at least, like, using a heuristic, at least, or exploratory. It's like, at some point, I wish there was a closer heal. Yeah, I wish it really was closer. Because you just have to exit and wander back to some place with a close heal, which I really think out of all of these, it's like pretty much is Mount Battle. So weird that it's there. It's because the other place you gotta what's it, the real game tower, you gotta sit through those long animations. So it always adds up. But yeah, no, I thought that was kind of interesting there. Other than that, the rest of the Nvidia keynote was just kind of like AI fluff. And it ends in a very cringe song. I think certainly everyone can look at that song and go, hey, like, it was kind of neat at first when Nvidia did the whole, like, I even was the composer of this music and that kind of stuff. This was real low tier slop, and they knew it, and they threw it at the end of the conference anyways. A song which jumbled together lyrics with absolutely no human touch. Like, no human's ever going to use the word inference. Oh my gosh, do I have to fight this guy? There's a different guy. This is a different guy. Ugh. How curious. Okay, in that case, maybe I'll just run forward after this. Drop a surf. But yeah, I believe some of the people in this dungeon will have some carryover Shadow Pokemon that you hadn't caught. Unfortunately, the one that I did miss is going to be still in Real Game Tower. Nice crit. Not effective. Yeah, Mirror Coat's always a bit of a doozy, isn't it? Jeez. Jeez. think also he might be the only trainer who ever comes back, so as long as I'm making a little bit of progress throughout here, it's not too bad. There we go. Yeah. Unfortunately, I've been very out of the loop, and I actually haven't pieced together what also rip. Guess we'll see if we can hit Wob off it in one fell swoop. Not with Psychic though. Oh, I was hoping Golem would cop it though. There we go. At least we got that. Oh, of course he's got an Earthquake. So long, Raikou, I knew thee well. Oh no, he's okay. I don't suppose this is gonna beat him. Nope. Okay. But yeah, on my other news, I had two other things. So I mentioned last week the whole age verification thing, and how we're sort of we get this joking bit of like, what exactly is how do you make an operating system verify age verification? And it's like, well, if you're Microsoft, it's not too bad. If you're Google, it's not too bad. If you're Apple, it's not too bad. If you're the Linux Foundation, who is responsible for this kind of thing? Oh my gosh, are they going to tell me every flaw? Ding, 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 ding. He's somewhere. Tyranitar Mystery. I have Tyranitar. I have most of these. Are you going to tell... He's going to tell me every single Shadow Pokemon in the game, piece by piece. Even if I've gotten all of them. I mean, it's neat that you can compare, but it's like, oh. Oh. At least we got an elixir. And a staircase. Ooh. It's just a barrel. Hi there. I have. Oh. What is up, my Niva? So this is the important... Oh, hold on, he's a higher level. Bulbapedia, you lied to me. They said level 30. He's level 52, and he still hasn't evolved him. Actually, no, hold on, wait a minute. That's Grovyle. Sorry, completely different Pokemon. Completely different. That's okay. We can burn his face. River the Conniver. That is true. You know, now I've got Psychic going, it's like, whoa. Good damage. Good damage time. Oh, I'm about to use Flamethrower on a Rhyhorn. Ah. It's not the end of the world, but it's like, it could be better. This texture seems so odd. Why does everyone have Shadow Ball? What's going on here? I don't have too much more to say about the whole age verification on the operating systems thing, because obviously there's a lot of questions we can always ask, like, how on earth does age verification on a TV work? Obviously, I think, like, that's one where it's like, well, TV manufacturers would have the capability of really adding this in, and I think certainly they'd be one of the easier ones to follow the law. Ones that run on Linux are probably a bit tricky. Because it's like, how does one retroactively add age verification again, then gets passed through to every program on Linux? They didn't think this one through, and they just expect the Linux Foundation to somehow come up with a solution tomorrow. Actually, it's in effect at the end of the year, so you've still got time to get there, but it's like, I don't know, man. I don't think most people are gonna care about these laws. But certainly, we still have other features that get added to Linux, and one of my favorite ones I would like to mention just got added to the new Ubuntu 26.04 beta, so I'll be in the mainline release very, very soon. And that is when you're typing, This is a very nerdy thing. When you type sudo, and you're sudoing something, it then goes prompt, here's your or type your password in, to, you know, to authorize the sudo. And on almost every flavor of Linux, it doesn't visibly show anything. You'll hit enter, your password did indeed type in, but you have no visual cue leading up to that. Look at that, max revives, just what I needed. Oh, look at that, rare candy, also what I needed. Wow. Also, is this a dead end? I wandered all the way here just to see a dead end and a pillar out of nowhere. That's okay. I'm not going to chat to you again. I don't think he really needed to battle me in the first place, but that's okay. So that means there's probably going to be a different pathway I can go to on this floor, like down, I guess. And then up. Oh, we're going up. I wouldn't mind if there's a PC on this floor somewhere. They're just getting scouted by bandits. I mean, it is an abandoned house. Oh snap! He's got Puccina. Puccina. What year is it? I'm just gonna leave the Puccina alive for the moment. Oh my gosh! I just realized as well. Double intimidate. Oh no! Single intimidate. Okay. That's a weird level 50 as well. It's kind of on the lower end, isn't it? Yeah. But no longer. Sudo, now by default on newer flavors of Linux, is following what Linux Mint sort of added into their distro, which is when you type a password in sudo, stars will appear showing you your password. I think the main reason why they originally didn't do this was because screens used to be a lot bigger and people weren't as quick to type on passwords. So by easily seeing that you were typing a password into your sudo and then seeing your hands move and type things, probably was ripe for a bit of exploitation way back in the day. But nowadays, has it ever been ripe for exploitation? You know, the screens are a lot bigger in the sense that usually people are not typing as large on them, and people are faster typers. Remember, this is a 1970s problem that has continued throughout the entirety of Linux. Or an 80s problem. I think it's a 70s problem. I think it actually has been that old. No, I'd probably say an 80s problem. We'll say 80s. And it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, well, it ain't broke, don't fix it, but like, maybe it did need fixing. And I think people generally agree that this is a good change, even though it can lead to a little bit of security risk. In the sense that, yes, okay, someone can see at a glance maybe how many letters your password was. Remember as well, single letters are valid Linux passwords, so no password is a valid Linux password if you really wanted to. Where'd you find Entei? Oh. That's always the funny thing about this game is technically none of these Pokemon are my own. That's enough of your antics. Party's over. Except that's exactly. Oh, he's got Lantern. This one's a bit awkward for Entei, isn't it? We'll swap them out on this one. I think Seadra was probably the iffier one to have out front. I can always keep using revives as well. How much money have these guys been giving me as well? Because I mean, revives are what, like 1,200 each? So you shouldn't really pop them off in every battle. Ah! Hopefully they go from the beginning. No, come on. Yeah, I might drop a revive on this fight, because I'm not too sure if I fully trust it. At least Supersonic didn't hit, so at least we got that. We'll hit Seadra. We'll just hope for the best. Did I say I was going to drop a revive and then I didn't? Me and my short-term memory, I tell ya. But yeah, I don't know. It's a super minor change, the Linux thing. Most people probably won't care. People will certainly notice, though, because, I mean, a lot of people, myself included, have had this moment. And this is the thing. It's always happened once. You go to sudo into something, and you've lost connection to the host. You've lost connection to whatever you were trying to, like, sudo something on. You know, just remotely. You don't know if your password isn't typing because, like, that's just what it looks like, or because that's actually, like, the connection's dropped out. So having input or having something visually happen on every key press, I think will help people confirm that, yes, I am indeed typing my password right. And also, I find it's very nice as well, because some places I've typed in passwords and hitting arrow keys will just change, it'll input like 4 key presses in one go. It's just a Linux moment. It's just sometimes things happen on Linux like that. But certainly it's like, yeah, like, am I about to get bit by fly? Maybe. 2 bots? 2 bots in one day? The underside of a Pelipper. I know, right? They both went to the same side as well. It's so worthless. Does anyone ever fall for this? They expect me to be like, oh, I keep getting emails as well. I keep getting emails, obviously through YouTube, because I've got my business email address on there. But people keep giving me like these emails of like, oh, you know, your channel isn't doing too well. I can help you boost your SEO and get your... And I'm like, I don't care about that kind of stuff, bro. I mean, they probably just scrape a bunch of these and then start using them for like mass marketing. That's really the explanation I can give. Oh, this paralysis is a big killer, isn't it? Boost your Tom. Also, Umbreon's faster now? What happened there? Sup, Blob? I did do it. No, I've done it. I'm now in the projects. As you can tell by the immensely high ceiling. Starmie, please don't do this to me. Yeah, new game next week. I'll be delegating as... I'm trying to get through this dungeon, and we'll see how we go. I mean, we're nearly at 11 o'clock, but... I want to kind of show off this dungeon, and then I will have a bonus video, sort of like when I did for Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Just kind of showing off, like, here's the things remaining. The normal type... This is a very disappointing turn, isn't it? He's having a head off any moment, so... But yeah, I'm not too sure if I'll have the bonus video up, you know, within the next week, but I'll certainly say, like, when it's done, it's done. I'll get there. And that's fine, that's all fine and fair. Oh no, now he's got physic. Ugh. So I'm curious, now that he's normal type, why don't I just send out Entei and use Flamethrower on him? Unless he's got Bubble Beam or something. Oh my goodness, this Pelipper, I tell ya. Oh, he's got Waterfall. I should be able to tank this one. Yeah, Entei is too good. Also, no stab. See ya, Blub. I will definitely heal after this fight. A bit too much. A bit too many trainers in one go. It's not too long a dungeon. I'm pretty sure we've probably seen more of the trainers, in fact. I don't actually think there's really that many to go. I also mentioned this, and I didn't watch how much money they gave me, so I need to look at that right now. Wasted. $550. That's not a lot of dollars. It's almost 3 Pokeballs. Almost. They're very cruel on the money in this game, though, aren't they? Other than this one guy hopping down from the ceiling, which I hope he doesn't do on the way back. I wish I could just sneak out through that. Oh, you do! That's so irritating. That's so irritating that I've got to, like, make sure I'm good enough to get through a fight on the reverse side as well. Obviously, if I die, I don't really care too much, but still, it's like... yeah, apparently, they're all tucked up in the ceiling, like it's a, you know, like a little attic. Also, only 3 Pokemon on this one. I mean, 2 of them are level 53, so it can't be too bad. Illumais and Volbeat are also not particularly high... They're not particularly high-tier Pokemon. I'm not that concerned. It's like, the reason why Entei gets all the levels is because everything is weak to fire in this game. I feel like we'll run out. I feel like they're giving the battles, just because they are new battles, technically. But they should be home to Shadow Pokemon. Everyone loves the special attack version of what would it be? Swagger. You don't see it very often, but it's there. It's always been there. Yeah, this seems like a fairly straightforward fight, isn't it? Unfortunately, the special attack version of Swagger, I mean, Confusion uses your physical attack stat, so it doesn't have that that quirk about it. Give him a bit of a spark, a bit of a Project Spark, so... next thing I got in my news as well, I mentioned Crimson Desert. The only thing I'd like to mention, and this is sort of just a broad topic, but I don't have too much to really say, is that apparently Intel said it reached out to Pearl Abyss for several years about helping and optimizing Crimson Desert for Intel integrated graphics and eventually for their Arc Alchemist Battle Mage Celestial cards. And apparently they had complete radio silence. Well, maybe not complete radio silence. I'm reading between the lines on this one. But Crimson Desert came out, and if you have an Arc GPU, it just doesn't work. It does not work on integrated graphics. It does not work on... maybe it works on Intel HD. Maybe. But yeah. I don't really know too much about Crimson Desert other than it's by the Black Desert Online people, and generally it had a bit of praise from some streamers that I know of, but like I don't know too much about it, and there's too many fantasy RPGs like in recent times. I get a bit a bit weary. There's too many of them, bro. Underneath this, I keep seeing comments saying, oh, Intel Arc is only like 0.16% of the entire Steam hardware survey. And it's like, well, part of that is kind of true. They are really on the smaller side, but people are buying them. They are growing in terms of their market share. And on top of that, we've now had a number of generations. So particularly, I'd say, I think Media Lake has Alchemist. And then, yeah, Lunar Lake particularly has Battle Mage graphics. Panther Lake has Celestial graphics. We've had quite a number of generations of Arc-based graphics now, which should effectively, similar to how Radeon does with RDNA, function like, and Vega back in the day, it should effectively function like the desktop graphics cards. And that's going to be in a lot of people's laptops. And I think you can't ditch Intel. You can't dismiss them and be like, oh, not many people play games on Intel. I think there will be naturally a lot more of them. 0.16 doesn't even seem correct right now. I'd actually say it's like 2%, which is still not a high number, but like, come on. Like, Intel themselves are claiming they reached out. They're ready. They're ready to work with you. And you didn't ship with working support, so it's a shame, unfortunately. Will they fix this? Maybe, but you can see where this is going in a hot moment. Maybe Psychic will be good enough. There we go. It feels good to sweep. I need to take that experience share off of Espeon. Yeah. The only other thing I've really got is this one other weird piece of news. You might know of Supermicro. They are a company that builds server solutions. So particularly they have a lot of kind of off-the-shelf kinds of servers that you can buy. And just, you put them in a server rack, that kind of stuff. But they're particularly big on giving some kind of unique solutions for, like, hey, this is something that draws this amount of power. It needs to dissipate heat well. It needs to use the latest and greatest kinds of architectures. That's their forte. They're great at doing that kind of stuff. And I personally have never bought one of their machines because I am poor and broke and cannot afford big servers or that kind of stuff, or even just like a rack getting that shipped to me. It's like, I'm kind of winging it. I'm DIYing my kind of stuff. But I assume if you want to buy new stuff, that's the strat. That's what you gotta do. Anyways, Supermicro's co-founder, who I don't know if he still worked at Supermicro, but he was a co-founder nonetheless, has been found guilty, or was found guilty, in a some form of smuggling plot. I assume an intellectual property smuggling plot, maybe. Prove it to me! Oh, jeez. He's been standing in the way. This is a bit iffy as well. Ooh, he's got Pupitar. Good old Pupitar. I was not expecting the bodybuilder to send 2 pseudo legendaries at me, but sure, yeah. Unfortunately for him, Ice Beam. Oh, almost. I don't think Pupitar has his stats upped quite as hard as Tyranitar, though. He evolves early, so that's kind of why. But yeah, he's been found in a smuggling plot. $2.5 billion, I think, was the amount of funds overall involved. Supermicro's share price has plunged 25% after this news, which is bad news for Supermicro stock holders, I guess. I can't use Psychic, so yeah, unfortunately, Espeon. Yeah, it is a big whoops. It is a massive whoops. And to me, I read this and I go, it's probably not the end of the world, because the smuggling plot, how would I put it? The smuggling plot doesn't affect what Supermicro does and builds and stuff like that, I think, maybe. I might be very wrong on this one. But certainly the stock price is the funny money. It's like, oh, this is bad, this company is bad. Spinder? Spinder? Really? What a weird choice. Spinder. Huh. I can't get over that one. There we go. But yeah, it's I don't know, I thought it was just a bit of an odd story, and then it's like, the share price fell so far, and it's like, the share price is going to do whatever. The share price could go up overnight because of a silly announcement that a tech company makes that doesn't actually mean anything tangible. Like, again, on the Nvidia front, it's like, yeah, like, there's nothing I can really take home other than, you know, certainly there is nothing for end consumers. I'm still not 100% sure if Rubin is going to be in the consumer architecture from Nvidia's side, or whether it's only going to be for data centers similar to, just say Volta, even though I know there was one before Blackwell. Rubin, that's the one they had. No. No, sorry, we are doing Vera Rubin. What's the one? What was the one before? Oh well, I'll remember it later. Gracehopper, is that the one? Oh, this is a very iffy spot. Can I even leave? Okay, okay. Phew, I was like... oh, we came this way, yes. I came to the city. I mean, you don't even have to fight these people if you really don't want to. Banana guy. So, but yeah, other than that, I don't have too much to say. I played through, I played through a couple of games in the past week. Yeah, I did. So I finished, I might as well mention the ones I finished. So I finished, Professor Layton and the Lost Future, or as it's referred to in the US, the Unwound Future, which, they change. If you're curious, in the end of the game, when they say the name of the game, it's a different take with the changed title in both games. So don't worry about it. I will not mention the plot, but I will say it is incredible. I played this game already, but I've completely forgotten how it went. And it's like, man, that's a ton of bricks ending right there. And I don't think they ever achieved that high in any other Professor Layton game. I think that's what makes that one so much more special. Because if I was to say the rest of the game, oh, it's Professor Layton. There's about 150 puzzles scattered across a point and tap. Just kind of, this is where you go. You're navigating the plot. Some guy tells you some stuff. A bunch of people on the way to that destination challenge you to some puzzles. You need to have cleared so many puzzles in order to get further in the game and past various checkpoints. Generally, I found the puzzles to be pretty fair in this one. There weren't too many that were just like, oh, here's some really obtuse puzzle that just kind of feels like they translated it a bit weird. No, there's not too many like that. There's a couple that are a bit mathy, so if you're not too big on the math equations, then you're going to find that's a bit of a struggle in places. But generally, pretty fair. They did chuck many sliding puzzles in the bonus section, so I'm not that smart on sliding puzzles. I'll get there eventually, but it's like, oh, sometimes it just adds up on me. Either not like this. But no, I would definitely recommend this game. None of the Professor Laytons particularly need to be played in any order. Like, it doesn't really matter too much, but I guess generally, you know, we'll always recommend playing the trilogy in order. You might as well. Because then they get better as they go as well. The solid games are all about 12 hours each, of course. But no, definitely give this one a go, and give all three of them a go. It's been ages since I played the last Spectre, or I think it's called the Unknown Spectre in NTSC regions, which is... I can't explain why all the games have different titles in America. Like, we literally have one called, like, the Pandora's Box, and they called it the Diabolical Box, and it gives me very Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's Stone flashbacks. Ouch. can't swallow, so... so to balance out a great game, I played a trash game. In comes Jurassic Park Interactive on the 3DO. This is, I assume it's really a film tie-in, but it's so bizarre. Chucking interactive on the name, I feel like sets me up for failure already. But effectively, it is a computer screen game, but it's on the 3DO, so you got to use a 3DO controller, which is not too bad. But it's just like, remember, a 3DO controller is a Mega Drive controller with shoulder buttons. 2 shoulder buttons. That's it. That's all you get. And it's garbage. The main goal of the game is that you need to rescue all the characters from the movie and move them to the helipad. You get told off at some point. Do I run south? Because I mean, this is the guy. Do I run south and save just now? Or do I just, like, not care because none of these guys fight you anyways? If I need to restart. You've seen it. Ah, Biendeo, it's been a while, not since the mayor's house in Phoenix City. You quit Tim Sagan? There's nothing here for you. Or did you come out to see me, Rosso? F you, F you, F you. If that's the case, I'd better not disappoint you. We finally did it. We made it to the boss fight. So yeah. Anyway, Jurassic Park Interactive. Yeah, there's 3... no, yeah, Quill Arbor's level 30. I'm going to annihilate this kid. You know, it's kind of scary as well. He's only got 3 Pokemon, I believe. No, he's got 4, sorry. Well, we might as well take out everything else. Just see how it goes, I guess. For reference as well, the other starter Pokemon, I believe, is also available, but you've got to leave the building and come back in. We might as well give it a go. We might as well get both of them in one go. Yeah, sure, we'll turn this into a 3-hour stream, but that's okay. That's okay, man. It's the final stream and I've been grinding a ton. But yeah, the only other thing to really mention, and we'll go over this more in the bonus video, but for people who are just for note, yeah, we can go back and get the other starter Pokemon, but again, it's like, the level of the starter Pokemon is so far down, it's like, you're never going to use this thing in normal play. I don't have a great strat, I'm just going to throw Pokeballs and hope for the best. So there's that. There are 2 trainers in the Team Snag'em hideout afterwards who start having no way. I was like, no way am I catching that in the Pokeball first go on full health. That'd be incredible if my luck was that good, but it's not. I know it. Oh no, Shadow Ball on 1 health. Ah. Here I go. But yeah, there's yeah, once you've done that, come back to this place and 2 of the trainers will have 2 other Pokemon. In particular, they'll have... one guy will have a Smeargle. They'll have a team full of Smeargles, and one of them is a Shadow Pokemon. And another one will have an Ursaring. So that's 2 of the remaining Pokemon. You can refight Gonzap, who was right before the Elite Four kind of stage, if you remember that one. And I really don't have a great plan for this guy. I could use Gus, but I'm actually worried I'm going to kill him with everything I have. So we'll just catch him normally, we'll see what happens. Other than that, he's kind of got a bit of a super team of what he had. They all seem like they're level 64s. There is also a Colosseum there, filled with level 60 Pokemon, which I probably could take on now. It ends at 65, but... or 68. In the final round of the Colosseum is a Shadow Pokemon. And, that's why I'm like, this game's not gonna get beat anytime soon, because you gotta stick through Colosseums, you gotta do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's that. I think maybe there's some other ones as well. Also, just as a note, all the end trainers in that Colosseum that just opened up, they're all the trainers that we fought on the way to in Real Game Tower. So all the mid-game bosses, Mirabee, the Kim, Venus, Ein, and then there's a new guy. So we'll show that off later. There we go. We got Quilava at least. Once you've done all of that, there is a very, very exclusive fight with another trainer. That trainer will have Togetic. I think that's all the Pokemon, right? Because we should be at 47 at that point, right? Yeah, we're at 47 at that point. Togetic is 48. Shuckle would be 47. I'm at 42 right now. I've missed one. So I should really be at 43. Yeah. It doesn't show me on the screen at all, but I know I'm at 42. So how incredible is this? It just has an exit right there. We could have just entered via there the entire time. But no, we took the long way. So we'll heal, and we'll go back and we'll catch the other starter Pokemon there. And then we'll call it a stream. Hi, yes, PDA. I went here for some reason, I don't know why. There's six more. Ursaring, Skiploom, Quagsire, Tropius, Skarmory, and Sunflora. I have all of these except for Houndoom. That's the only one left. But yeah, no, overall it's been a fairly good time of a game. Obviously, yeah, again, the grind is a bit real. I will still forever add that. But if you're patient, a decently rewarding Pokemon game. We're not getting Houndoom this stream. I'll chuck that in the bonus video. Yeah, I feel like people probably want to see another game. It's been 9 streams in a row of Pokemon, you know, like, and given a bit of the time delay, it's like, I think it's fine to throw it into a bit of a bonus vid at the end. Maybe you'll like it, yes. I know someone has asked for it. Not necessarily one of you, but someone has asked for it at some point. Back him to the Snag'em. So are they nice and will let me? They don't let you. They don't let you walk back through the side door. They force you to take the long way. Ugh. You might be wondering, what was that email? That's right. A lot of visitors have seen the Shadow Pokemon. Net in the Under should have more information for you. Do I need to go and visit Net from the Under? Because I'm pretty sure this guy probably won't show up until someone has mentioned that he exists again. Guess it gives me an excuse to talk to people. Ew, talking. It's been a while since we've been back here, hasn't it? But yeah, anyways, Jurassic Park Interactive. Your goal is to get all the people back to the helipad. You basically do it by playing Risk. Effectively, they can move to neighboring locations on the map, and each step, you might be wondering what's over there. I'm not actually too sure. Bonus video, I guess. Did we pick up the L-Disc at some point? I'm not even gonna stop and check. I assume this guy's in here. Where is this Real Game Tower? It's so weird how much of the dialogue has not updated after beating everything. Hi there. There's a guy in front of the junk shop named Gurks. Hold on, the junk shop? Like... No, the junk shop here. Yeah. Which one is Gurks? It sounds contagious. Well, I assume the scrapyard... Which one was the scrapyard over here? These people are the people you fight. I'm not going to chat to them. I know what happened last time. Yo, are you Gurks? Nope. You are also not Gurks. It's not a very long tail, but sure. He made it seem like he was in front of the, hold on. Oh, he is that guy. Yeah, okay. I have it open on the side. But yeah, so you move people like that in between. Oh, wait, aren't you meant to be Gurks? Unless the junk shop's a different shop. It probably is the other shop. Lady Venus! Listen, I don't read Japanese. I'm sorry. You gotta localize that sign. Transform for me and then fly away? Are you Gurks? There you go. Oh, okay, now we gotta do a rematch battle. Okay. Okay, Gurks. You're on. In between all of the steps of moving people around on the map, you've got a double whale lord here. Interesting. Oh. I don't have a skitty, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately on this one. And that's his only Pokemon as well. Curious. Very curious. You have to play one of 3 mini-games. And I swapped the wrong one. We're doing, we're gonna do it, just get Espeon to start doing some damage here. You gotta do one of 3 mini-games. The first of which is a, like a rail, well, I don't want to say a rail shooter, it's like a gallery shooter. You got the spitting raptors that come out across from the trees, and you've got to charge up a shot and then release it on them. And then they go flying for some reason. But over time, they're also spitting at you, and the screen gets darker and darker to the point of getting very annoying. It's not too hard a game, but it feels kind of annoying. The second one is a Doom-style game. I mean, it's kind of early. It's 1994, so getting anything in first person feels somewhat impressive, but the way everything warps around you is a bit disorienting. But effectively, everything is a flat, grid-based maze. You navigate through rooms, and there's raptors who kill you in one hit, and you have to avoid the raptors. You might be nice enough to sidestep the raptors, but sometimes they catch you in corridors, and there's nothing you can do. I think you're meant to trap them in, like, certain areas. So, like, there's one area that was like a loop where you can run around it, and you can activate a door to close behind you. But there's obviously more than one raptor, and so it doesn't work all the time, and I don't know what they expect after a certain point in time. Sometimes the key to exit is immediately in that first area, and sometimes it takes so many areas to go to, and I don't know why, but it's annoying. Also, the raptors can only be heard via your heartbeat, and also the raptors often get stuck on geometry, which means they cannot stick out until you basically stick your neck out, and then they get you immediately. It's annoying. The third game is a driving game where you dodge things on the road that are either on the left side of the road and you have to steer right, or the right side and you steer left. As that Bluno guy mentioned. Fairly straightforward, nothing too weird about it, but annoyingly, they have a giant on-screen blip. You know, the objects in mirror may appear closer, or that kind of, you know, that's a classic, sure, but like, it's very frustrating because that covers so much of the screen, especially like the region to the right, you can press a button and that mirror goes away, and you can just use the regular rear view mirror of the car, which feels much more practical. But then when the T-Rex is coming even closer, the mirror shows back up again and just gets in the way. It's very annoying. On the emulator that I was using, it doesn't emulate the speed correctly on probably most of this game, and everything is running at a weird speed, and it makes this minigame virtually impossible to react to everything in time. I don't know how fast it should be running, but it certainly runs way too fast. And that's it. Rinse and repeat those 3 minigames again and again, each time getting frustratingly more difficult. Like, I know it makes sense to make the game harder as you go along, but it's like the minigames are just, like, brutally unfair at some point. And then you beat the game, and then you get told, actually, you didn't download the codes or something like that, and therefore, it didn't count. Everyone died still. What do you mean by this? Well, in the menu, there is a security system feature that you have to crack, air quotes crack. It's effectively 5 shooter-adjacent minigames. The first one is like Space Invaders. The second one... I get to battle you again. Did we battle this guy again or no? It really is someone new every time. It's got a new team. I don't remember this guy. I mean, we'll just take it, sure. Yeah, the first one's Space Invaders. The second one is like a Galaga-style one. The third one is like 3D Arkanoid, I guess. It's one of those like against-the-wall style ones. I don't know. The fourth one is like a top-down, all-direction shooter. The fifth one is a top-down, all-direction shooter, but slightly different. All of them are themed weird. All of them don't really have much to do with Jurassic Park and feel very just like you took a bunch of dinosaur sprites and called it a day. I don't know. It seems very odd. And that's it. If you do that, then you get a real ending of the game should at least one character survive, which generally it's not too bad to get one character living at least. But your score sucks. And you will forever be known as someone who got a bad score in Jurassic Park Interactive. Curiously, it has a lot of very bizarro sprites. Curiously, it doesn't have any of the actual actors from the movie in the game. They got other actors to play them, and by play I mean they ran across the screen. There's like FMVs where they just run away from the camera in a field for a bit. And I'm like, that doesn't really make me feel very Jurassic Parky. Curiously as well, when you beat the game, you get images of the developers and they anamorph into dinosaurs. I thought that was kind of funny, but it's a real lame game. You know, maybe some of it is just like, oh, maybe the emulator could be better and I'm just getting a very bad impression. But also part of me is like, wow, the minigame, like none of it is actually really that fun. They threw a handful of ideas into it and they all feel a bit shallow. So, I wouldn't recommend Jurassic Park Interactive on the 3DO. I wouldn't at all. So, last one I'll mention is Dino Brothers, which I, regrettably couldn't beat, because I suck at strategy games. I'm really bad at them. But also, I feel like this one has a bit of a quirk with its presentation. It leaves a little bit to be desired. I think that some of it is I learned as much as I could, and some of it is like, it's just not clear what's actually working out. And you'd have to go through a fair bit of trial and error in order to really understand. Oh, he's not at the end of the dungeon? He must be in the other room. It's kind of interesting. It just means I'll exit out that side then. He wouldn't be here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he must be on the other side then. That's kind of weird. I was not expecting him to be in a different spot. But that's okay. Squeeze through. Not this place. Down the floor. But it is weirdly empty. And, well, I mean, I know because I've explored it. But also, The fact that there's no one really forcing any fights on you. There you go. He must be in this room then. Hello? Is anybody home? Is he even here? Oh, he's in the Shadow Pokemon Lab. Not even in the right area. I wandered to the wrong place. That's okay. We'll go out the long exit. That's okay. It's all good. We're not hitting midnight just yet. Just yet. Unless I have to fight more dudes, in which case, if I have to fight one other guy on the way there, we'll bonus video it. But yeah, no, Dino Brothers, otherwise, I like the concept. You've got some herbivore units. They go around, they eat grass, and earn you resource points, which you then use to buy more units or buy the abilities. Carnivores, which whoop your opponents. Omnivores, which eat your opponent's eggs, which is nice to sort of choke them out. And that's it, actually. You've got some powers. You can cause a drought and dry your opponent's grass. You use grass as well as like a way to expand your territory so that generally more animals can survive in, you know, the same area. And also, yeah, like your dinosaurs don't walk off the grass. They keep to the grass. This is where the train would be, so it's not the end. Yeah, Dino Brothers, that's the one. It has a sequel. I believe at least the sequel is on the Japanese Mega Drive Mini. But neither game was localized. They're Japan only, which is really bizarre. Because they probably would work well in an English region, but they never did, so... But yeah, I like the scenarios, I like the presentation. I don't quite get how much health my units have. It feels very... okay, I'm going to be fighting enemies. Listen, we'll fight this guy. But I'm going to be here for a while. I'm just going to be fighting enemies to get to this guy, so... We'll leave it for the bonus video, then. We'll wreck this guy's ferret. Maybe. Do you want me to wander just that tad bit more? I could do that, but... yeah. But yeah, I don't really know when my units in Dino Brothers have low health. Sometimes they'll sweat, you'll see them sweat, and I don't know if that's because they're hungry or they're thirsty, because sometimes they live longer when they're standing next to water. Fire Blast, really? Wow, we got a Fire Blast on a Wigglytuff. Very odd. Very odd. Yeah, sometimes they sweat, and then generally I found when they sweat, they don't do well in combat. They'll often cop it to an enemy. But sometimes they will win, and sometimes they're on a roll, and sometimes they're straight out of the womb. They've come clean out of the egg, and they're sweating, and they lose like their first battle within seconds. I can't explain what's going on here. I assume, yeah, units that have more experience maybe might be stronger, and obviously they haven't. If a unit does, I believe, 10 confirmed kills, they actually get to transform into a super version, and then they absolutely dominate for a while. But it doesn't last forever, and also I can't reliably get that to happen very often. I've had it happen, but only once. There's a tutorial mode where there's 8 maps, and I cleared through that. There's a real mode, like the normal campaign, which is 20 maps long. I beat 9 of them. The 10th one starts getting a bit absurd on me. because you're dealing with an asymmetric map as well. So you're on, you know, your opponent has all of these like little water pools. They get all of this like, I guess I'll use Ice Beam, I don't know. They get all of this kind of free grass, and they grow their units so quickly. Meanwhile, I'm just chilling there like, yeah, I'm struggling, and also whenever there's a tight corridor, it's so hard to direct your units through it because you can only direct one unit at a time. You lose resource points for directing a unit, which is kind of annoying. And, oh boy. Ah, there goes Espeon. Yeah, you lose resource points for directing units, which always feels very, very frustrating. And then yeah, if you don't have the grass, they kind of die anyways. You can drip feed the grass for them, but it's still like, yeah, it's a bit of a slow process. I'm not the biggest fan of it. So yeah. Other than that, I guess it's a fairly simple game. It's nice and easy to get into, and I think it plays well on the Mega Drive controller, but I suck at strategy games, so out of all the ones where I can tell you the most about it, I can only glimpse into some of the levels and tell you as far as I got on that one, which is a bit defeatist of me. So yeah, he disappears, just like the rest. So I mean, we'll go through, but if I get another random guy, I'm just gonna, you know, we'll call it. I think I have to wander back through. Oh, really? I've completely forgotten the layout as well. So that means I think I've got to fight another guy leaving here. Okay, if I just tuck real close, maybe he won't drop down from the ceiling. Oh, he didn't drop down from the ceiling. But I think this would mean, like, hold on, if I, like, just visually glimpse it. Oh, I panicked for a moment there. I was like, holy crap, someone's running up behind me. Yeah, where was the guy at the end of this whole thing? H went down to there, and then K was the ending, so that was just over there, so we really went down this way. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to fight more guys, so I think we'll just call it after this one. I'll back off, I'll save, and we'll call it a night. It is interesting how many battles there are, though, because I was a little concerned about how much grinding I'd need to get my team of generally in the 50s to start to compete more and more against Suikun's got nothing against the Sharpedo here. How much I would need in order to get up to like level 70 fights. But it doesn't seem it's that bad actually, because we're getting a bunch of repeatable encounters on the way, which means I can build up my repertoire of items again. I'll have a little bit more of a ability to yeah, get those moves. Entei is 57, which I think is actually a very strong level as well. I mean, I know, but it's like I'm on par with a Sneasel here. That's pretty cool for me. Don't remind me, Houndour. Scary face. You know, I'd recommend Dino Brothers. I'd recommend it. I don't really have a... I really don't have a great move against Houndour, so I'll just sort of ride it. Come on. It's crunch time. Now, if only I could teach crunch to Umbreon. It's a Houndour. I'm not expecting that much damage. I guess I could bite back. Nah, it's worthless. I might as well just switch out to, I don't know, actually switch back to Suicune? Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, other than that, oop, wrong one, switching out. Other than that, I don't really have too much ahead of me. It's the 23rd of March. We've already hit the equinox. We've got Earth Hour coming up I've forgotten when Easter is. Every time I gotta look it up. Easter is probably the week after. So the same time when daylight savings changes. So 2 weeks. Yeah. I'm saying that more to remind myself to get chocolates and stuff, because I'm doing the spending of the Easter stuff this time. I need to go out and get stuff. It's all awkwardly marked up as well. It's like, ugh. But that's okay. But yeah, other than that, I've got nothing really big planned for the next few days. We'll try and get all the Guitar Hero stuff just ironed out, all done, all tested, see if I can reduce the size of the set a little bit while fixing the player bug. No one has complained to me just yet. I've mentioned it. GH5 set when... you know me, I might do something before SingStar Pop, or I might just do SingStar Pop, but it's been about a year. We have 3 players on SingStar on SingStar Party. Not 3 players, it's like 6 players. We have like yeah, SingStar Pop would be good. I'm still surprised no one's like taking up the credence to do all the SingStars. Like I've already set the groundwork. I just need to copy paste. Yeah, exactly. It's easy sets for me, so but yeah, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, well, do people enjoy them? And I enjoy, like, looking through them and figuring them out a little bit as well. But at some point, it's like, I'm curious how different these games are going to be and how much it's just like, I have a workflow. I have, like, I'm going to copy-paste my achievement set. I'm going to move the pointers around. And then it's like, boom, we're done. I sort of had a little bit of a template when I started Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, but that evolved into something much, much larger. I might handle this one a bit differently as well because we've got the multi-set, you know, supported. So 23 hours or 24 hours is actually a bit lighter than I thought as well, and that's already with an hour after all this other stuff. But yeah, other than that, we're all good. That's Pokemon Colosseum mostly done. Wait for the bonus video if you want to see all the remaining stuff, but that's the end of the stream for Pokemon Colosseum. It's been a ride. And yeah, I'd like to thank you so very, very much for watching. If you enjoyed this or you didn't enjoy this, that's okay. Streams at 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time for 1 more week. Only next week. That's the only time left. If you missed parts of this, I guess if you didn't like it, you didn't like me toying around with my emulator settings on the fly. Maybe I should just be playing on the real GameCube. Maybe. If you missed parts of this, VOD will be on YouTube. Blob, if you're there, hi, I know you're there. Yeah, you can follow me on the Fediverse for some messages here and there. You'll see me all over the shop in various places. Some people have recognized me from Backlogged. Some people recognize me on Retro Achievements itself, so you can say hi there. What will I do in the next week? I'm not too sure, but yeah. We'll fix up Guitar Hero and we'll see where we go from there. So have a good one, fellas. Stay safe, eat your greens if your computer's well enough. Play a Wii set on Retro Achievements, it's good fun. Or play any older set. Or just share the things that you've been playing as well. So that's all good. Anyways, have a good one, fellas. Peace.